What's going on, everybody? It's Thursday, which means it's time to get reconnected. This week, somebody that I have been melding with the world quite a bit over the last month. I am stoked to bring on Ken from Mid-Level Media. Ken, what's going on?
What's up, man? How are you doing today?
I am
I'm
all
happy
right.
to be here.
I'm honored that you're here. It's been a pretty crazy month
It's no
getting to
honor
know
to
you,
have
and
me anywhere, trust me.
uh, been on your channel a couple times. Now we got you coming on here. The whole
Yep.
worlds are colliding. It's nice to have you.
Yeah, it's like the 90s, Power Man 5000. Worlds collide.
Yep.
We're doing it
And
tonight.
we'll do like a must see TV Thursday night, and just say these sitcoms are going to mix for the night. You have some crossover episodes.
It's going to be bigger than the Full House Family Matters crossover for
Either
sure.
way, we'll make the best of it, and we'll say, did I do that? Ken, first off, why don't you tell everybody what you do on your channel, because you've not been here before. So explain it.
I have not, as you can see behind me, I talk in a lot of movies and in physical media. I do a lot of the same kind of stuff that Ron does. I do a physical media report every single Monday where I just kind of run down all the late breaking news and announcements. I do 4K Blu-ray reviews. I do haul videos. I do Blu-ray hunting videos. If it's physical media related, I do it on the channel. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I try to have a good time, try to have fun,
You do,
as well.
yeah.
So
We do a lot of the similar stuff. You got some content on there with your wife. You got a second channel, Married with Media.
yeah, I should promote that. I should promote that. Me and my wife, we talk about movies and TV shows, mostly streaming content, and we do live streams every whenever we can. It's tough to pull off sometimes with kids.
Yeah, I know how that goes. Let me check in with the chat. We got some people that are here specifically for you, so we'll get to those. First, Nick from Movie AV Impulse. Sorry, can't watch live stream. Catch the replay. Nick, you are extremely generous. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the donation. Appreciate you more than you know. Nick is a great guy. Everybody should check out his channel for sure. Tony's here. What's going on? Silent Attacker. He's here only for you. Hey, Ken. Good evening.
What's up, Silent Attacker?
Christian's Hobby Blog just watched the interviews with Amanda Reyes and Justin Beam. Loved every minute. Thanks for checking those out, Christian. Brent Madison, another great guest as always. What's going on? Tim, hello. Man, Tuesday night was wild. Tim and Bob hosted their Steelbook tournament, and
Yeah,
that was insane. Did you watch the rest of it?
I watched the entire thing. I'm pretty sure I was in there for the entire thing.
I'm still tired from that night.
Yeah, you handily won, didn't you?
I mean, kind of. Yeah, I got first place.
Was it
It
a pretty
wasn't
good lead?
handily. James was the one that swept the night. Nobody could
James
stand up
took
to
it to
him.
you.
Yeah,
Wow,
he
can't
blocked
believe
one of
that.
mine all night.
Yeah, whenever Tim and Bob get together, it's it's gonna be it's a wild and crazy show.
Yeah, it was nice to hang out with everybody.
Yeah.
Josephine, hello, Ryan and Ken. Just finished reading The Samurai's Garden, and then again, maybe I won't. Now reading When You Wish Upon a Lantern. Nice. Brenna's here, says I watch mid-level media all the time, like 90% of your videos, never comment, good quality content.
Well, thank you for watching. At least it's okay if you don't comment.
Tony wants us to do a 10-hour live stream. How you feeling about that tonight?
You're gonna have to wait till you finally get Tony on here to do the 10-hour live stream. I think he'll go there with you.
We can have a Tony stream
I
and
don't feel
have
like
him.
arguing with my wife all day tomorrow. Because it's supposed to, I actually did take off tomorrow. But she'll expect me to do something, with her when she gets off of work. And if I'm still in bed when she gets home, then there's going to be problems.
I'm gonna have
So,
Tony share his entire collection one day. We'll get to 10 hours that way.
yeah, you'll get to a whole week. Just all week. You'll be streaming until Tuesday.
Mizzy's here. What's going on, Mizzy? Tim says he won't hang out for 10 hours. Dave, what's going on? Let's see. Josephine, this is a good topic. First time watches Page of Madness, Belladonna of Sadness, Shatterglass, The Celebration, and Danny Deckchair. So, Ken, what have you been watching lately?
So I had to binge through all the Superman movies to review that 4K box set. So those are my more recent watches. But I did watch, and I liked them. I'd say I liked them all overall. Quest for Peace was not good. I don't, have you seen them all?
I've seen them all, but it's been a long time.
It's not good, but it's not. It wasn't the worst thing I ever saw. I feel like that movie got a little bit overhyped as far as how bad it was. It wasn't
Yeah.
like Batman and Robin levels bad.
Yeah, I think it was just people comparing to what had come out before it,
At
which
least the
was
Gene Hackman
much
was in it.
better. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it was the Richard Pryor one. I did not like at all.
That's
I didn't like.
understandable.
I didn't like Superman 3, but I love the first one.
Was
The
that your
fir-
first time watch for all
It
of
was
them?
it was pretty much. I'd seen parts of 2 when I was a kid. Like I remember the diner scene, like really vividly when I was a kid. But that's pretty much all I could remember. But the first one's probably firmly like in my top 10 superhero movies of all time. Now, I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
The second one I liked a lot, and then the other two are the other two. But I had a good time with them. Overall. But I watched Infinity Pool with my wife yesterday morning. I liked that. I liked it quite a bit. I don't know if you've seen that one yet.
Not yet, but I was a big fan of Possessor. I'm certainly looking forward to this one.
It's along the same lines. I think if you like Possessor, you'll like Infinity Pool.
And right now, the rumor is Second Sight may be releasing that later this year. That's never been confirmed by them or anything like that.
Did they do Possessor?
They did not.
Okay.
They are supposedly doing the newest David Cronenberg, the one that came out last year, Crimes of the Future. So there's some scuttle that they might be doing both of those.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I really dug it. I dug it a lot. So,
nice. And did you like Possessor too? Did you see that?
Yeah, I like Possessor a lot too.
Interesting.
He does like he does a really good job like blending sci-fi and horror together.
Yep.
And he does that again in Infinity Pool. So I liked it a lot.
Interesting. Very interesting. Really only one that I have not updated since last time. That's just a couple days ago. I watched the Kurosawa film Cure, the younger Kurosawa. And I don't know if you've ever seen that one, but it was.
I haven't saw a Kurosawa movie yet.
Well, it's not Akira Kurosawa. It's Kiyoshi Kurosawa. This is
Is that his son?
No, they're not related. Crazy enough.
Really?
Yeah. It is a beautifully shot film. It is a wonderfully made film. Didn't connect with me at all. This is widely regarded as a masterpiece, and I don't know if I was just not in the right mood, but yeah, I'm all right at the moment. Not seeing it again for a long time.
It's not widely regarded by you, huh?
Nope. I was mystified by how well made it was, but yeah, certainly will not be watching it again anytime soon.
Yeah.
What's going on, Holland Oates?
I also watched. I watched this one last night. I watched In the Cuts.
I got that coming from Orbit soon
with Meg Ryan and Mark Ruffalo. Meg Ryan gets naked quite a few times in this movie.
She gets in the cut, yeah.
And I heard that from Knocked Up back in the day when Seth Rogen was trying to create that website that shows all the famous scenes where the famous people get naked.
Absolutely.
It was okay. I mean, it's a thriller.
Well, it's cheap right now too.
It's pretty cheap. I mean, it's worth $10. Like it's it's interesting to see Meg Ryan in that type of role, and a younger Mark Ruffalo, and then you got Jennifer Jason Leigh's in it too, which she doesn't have a huge part, but yeah, I love her and everything she does.
I just watched her in Miami Blues recently. That was a good one.
Oh yeah, the one with Alec Ball. Yeah, I watched that one when they did the MVD release. Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. We got Eric here. What's going on? Magic Hands is the Sharknado film retrospective. It sure is, Jim. You know what's funny is somebody pulled that Sharknado Steelbook on Tuesday, and I didn't have that one, but I almost pulled the Sharknado collection because everybody on the panel said they didn't have it. I was like, you just told me. We still have 7 rounds left, but I let them off easy. What's going on, Sulaco?
I'll tell you, I would have grabbed it.
Yeah.
I would have grabbed it.
The hard part is it was on the opposite side of the room.
I played dirty, though.
I was too busy running on this side. Dude McMahon just watched New York Ripper for the first time. Lucio Fulci. Have you seen any Fulci films, Ken?
Yes. Zombie, I love. Yeah, that one kind of blew my mind when I watched it. I've never been the biggest fan of like zombie movies. I just don't think I haven't watched the right ones, but I wasn't a huge fan of 28 Days Later back in the day and some of the other ones everybody was high on, but that was like when I watched it, I was like, this is probably like my favorite zombie movie now. I
It
absolutely
makes
loved it.
sense. It
Yeah.
makes sense. There's
I mean, a
there's
zombie fighting a shark. I mean, how can you beat that?
exactly.
You can't beat that. But I also saw, I think, House by the Cemetery
That's a
was the
good
other one
one.
that he did. I like
Yeah.
that one. Okay, it was. I didn't like it as much as Zombie, but I need to dive into more of his stuff for sure.
Yeah. Especially like The Beyond, City of the Living Dead.
Yeah, The Beyond, and I have the City of the Living Dead 4K. I just got that one.
Looks great. Looks
Yeah,
real good.
need to watch that one.
All right. How about some recent pickups? Anything fun you got recently you want to share with everybody?
I got the Knock at the Cabin Steelbook today.
Nice.
But I went pretty light this week, and this is an expensive steelbook. This is
It is.
$38.99,
Why? I
and
completely agree.
that's just like the standard for new movies now. I feel like I mean, Disney started it with the Marvel stuff, and now Universal is following suit. But I like this movie, and I like this steelbook a lot, so I went ahead and shelled out the dough for it.
It was a fun movie. I saw that one in theaters.
Yeah, it's not like as good as it's not like top tier Shyamalan, but it
Yeah.
kind of reminded me of Signs a little bit because it was like world ending, isolated, one location. I like Dave Bautista in it a lot, so
He was great.
yeah,
Absolutely
so
great.
I really dug it, and yeah, I spent $40 on that steelbook. I didn't feel good about it when I got to the car, but you know, it is what it is.
I was
But
scrolling through to see who I missed, and Bob says Ken got naked when he saw her naked.
no, I didn't. I got LA Wars in today as well.
Nice.
Have you seen this? Is this any good?
It
Got
is
somebody
good, actually.
from Baywatch in it. I know that.
It is surprisingly good. That is a really good title that was on the VSA line from Vinegar Syndrome, and
Oh, was it?
MVD Rewind got that, and yeah, it's you'll be happy with it. It's a really
I
fun
might
movie.
watch that one tonight or tomorrow.
It's got some pretty impressive stunts for its time.
Nice.
All right. One more chat that I wanted to point out. Sulako88 says, I need to convince Ken to get a region free player. You don't have a region free player?
No, I got one.
Okay.
It's just I bought it like 3 years ago, and I just now hooked it up within the past month. So I have it. I have it. I don't import a ton, or I haven't in the past. I'm only like now getting into it, but I've got a few in the collection. Like I've got Frankenhooker over here.
Nice.
So I mean, I got a few that I can watch on it. But
yeah, there's a lot of really good ones that are cheaper that are locked region B that are out of print in the US. There's some stupid licensing stuff in North America that will keep some stuff for us for a long time.
Yeah. I haven't had to worry about it like with the 4Ks and stuff. So, but yeah, I got it a long time ago, but just recently hooked it up. But I have it.
James is here too. What's up, guys? Like Knocked at the Cabin as well. Going to hold off on picking it up. Wait for a sale. Man, that steel better go on sale. But I guess if it goes on sale, maybe it'll only be $30.
Yeah, like if I didn't like the steel, I would have waited. But you know, with the steels, you just never know what's going to happen with them.
That's very, very true. My only real pickups to share is I don't know what happened, but my April Vinegar Syndrome package it got marked as shipped, and then it never left the warehouse. And
the one with the April titles.
Yeah, so it sat there for like 10 days, and I was like, hey guys, I think you forgot something, and they replaced everything for me, and it finally got here. I'll share the partner labels we got in Vinyl Nations, a documentary against vinyl records.
Yeah, I got that one.
Benson and Moorhead's Something in the Dirt. Love their work.
See, I bought the Endless. I think I watched that like 5 years ago or something when it first came out on Blu-ray because everybody was raving about it, and I couldn't get into it. It felt like a straight to Walmart like DVD sci-fi movie.
That one I think is lower tier from them. If you want to really go there, watch Spring. It is like a Lovecraftian romance film.
All right. Yeah, I've heard good things about that one, but after I watched The Endless and everybody was raving about it, I didn't trust anybody on whether or not their stuff was any good or not. So I didn't check out Spring.
I will always support Deaf Crocodile, and they put out Time of Roses. These people are amazing. I need to get them back on the channel. They do some incredible work. And then this feels like a Ken title, Justice Ninja Style.
Hell yeah.
I had Dan from VHS Hit Fest in right before this released. Eager to see that one.
Does that say blink and you die on the back?
It says blink and you die in the dark.
Hell yeah.
That's kind of philosophical. We got the Hourglass Sanatorium. This is from Yellow Veil. And then Bullets Over Summer. This is from Connie. They do some incredible work. Just had them on the channel recently as well. But the biggest one that I am ecstatic on, Agfa's Zodiac Killer. This is a weird
I almost got that.
But the crazy thing is they put out a prayer candle with it. This was limited to like 25 pieces. And then it came with...
That wasn't any extra?
Yeah. It came with a Zodiac handwritten postcard note. And it's on an actual Agfa postcard. It's nice.
Wow.
Yeah. Stoked on that. They do some great stuff. Agfa pretty much promotes everybody. They do theatrical work across the country. They've got a giant archive. It's crazy.
So you have the Vinegar Syndrome subscription.
Yes, sir.
Do you try to get most of the partner label stuff every month too?
No.
Or you just kind of pick and choose the one that's interesting to you?
The hard part is it's pick and choose what's interesting, but unfortunately, it's kind of all mostly interesting. And the way that I watch, like a lot of my viewing over the last year has just been partner labels. They've been putting out some of the better titles from anybody across like all physical media recently.
Yeah.
It's been tough to keep up though. When you got, I think
like they're putting out like what 16 titles a month or something, or
somewhere between 12 and 16 a month. Yeah,
that's crazy.
And I think they're up to 23 different partner labels now.
So let me ask you something. What's your viewing schedule like? How do you get all this stuff watched? Or don't you? Okay, I was just wondering. Do you try to get in a movie a day, 2 movies a day?
I try, but it's impossible for me. I every Monday night I watch a movie 100% of the time. Sunday nights I mostly watch a movie. Friday and Saturday nights usually stuff with the kids because it's not a school night. And then the rest of the week it's crazy. Every single Thursday I've got a stream. I watch sometimes while I work, but I don't have a TV in my office, so I have to go off of the computer, and my external disk drive had an update, and it's not even working right now, so I can only stream stuff. And a lot of that stuff, I'd rather watch it in like nice 4K, and it's rough. I'd rather watch the restoration.
Yeah, and it gets messy when you're trying to watch stuff when you're doing things. Like I'll try to multitask and be like, watch something while I'm doing something on my phone. And it's like, I just can't do it. Like I end up spending 4 hours to watch an hour and a half movie because I got to keep rewinding it because I missed something important. So yeah, I was just kind of curious if you're getting buried and
I not
watches
only
like I am.
Not only do I call this my like museum and library, but I also call this my retirement plan. I mean, with 2 young kids, it's impossible. I mean, I've got 2 young kids with special needs, a full-time job. I'm trying to pick up some side work right now. It is a lot to do all at once.
Yeah, and the channel.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, trying to maintain that, and it gets to be a lot for sure. You know, I always get people that give me great recommendations and stuff, and it's like I can't get to everything.
I'll put it on the list, but I might not get to that list till 2029.
I mean, you got 8,000 titles in your collection. I mean, I've talked about this before. Have you made peace with the fact that you probably won't watch them all?
Yeah, for the most part. Will? I mean, I'm going to try to watch all of the main films. All the special features I'm probably not going to be able to get to because that's literally doubling at least the length of that watch. It's a lot.
Yeah. I wish I just had the discipline to, all right, I'm going to start with my A's. Every movie I haven't seen, and I'm just going to go down the line, or start even like a boutique label. I'm going to watch all these criterions in a row, numbered row. But my mind's just everywhere. It's like, I want to watch a Vinegar Syndrome tonight. I want to watch one of my, Kinos, or this new studio title just came in. It's just everything's pulling me in like 100 different directions, and I spend so much time trying to figure out what I'm going to watch. I can, only watch half the movie, then I got to watch the other half the next day.
I was talking about this, I think, in my Discord recently, and I said I found like a new release shelf that would be really neat just to mount up on the wall. You put all of the titles that are either just came in or ones that you want to focus on watching soon. I want to mount it up there, and it'll hold like 25 discs. And then I started thinking about it. I mean, in all reality, I might do that, but then I'll get a package and go, I have to watch this one right now. I don't care that it wasn't on the shelf.
Yeah.
And it'll just be shot. After a week, it won't mean anything.
And I'll just walk over to the shelf and I'll notice this movie that I probably haven't seen in like 3 or 4 years. I'm like, man, I remember loving that movie. I just really want to watch that tonight. But I can't because I have this new stuff I got to watch that I've never seen before. Damn it.
And that's the other thing. Review titles, obviously, we got to prioritize.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Got a question from Sibiner. Can you clarify this? What is the policy with Umbrella going forward as a partner label for OCN? So they have come out and said that they are only going to be releasing, at least for this year, for the rest of 2023, it is only going to be Australian titles that they had released previously in Australia that have not come out in the US. So like Larry Clark's Kids that just got announced, they are not going to be releasing that in the United States. They're not going to be releasing Razorback on 4K here when Scream Factory just put out the Blu-ray. That's just logistically, it can't work like that. So it'll be for the Aussie titles that they had done the restorations for, that they have the rights to for the US as well. Man, Chad is going crazy tonight. Stan's here. I just saw that. Just watch what strikes my fancy at any given moment. Yeah, basically, I get that.
I wish I could operate like that.
It's hard, especially when you walk into a room and there's so many things. Like a title could catch your eye, or somebody could call you and say, hey, let's both watch a Robert De Niro film tonight or something like that. And you're just, okay, sure.
Or sometimes I'll be on a stream with somebody, or I'll see a comment and like they'll describe the movie, make it sound so good. And I'm gonna say, I can't wait. I have to watch this tonight.
Yep.
And then it just pushes everything else aside.
I get that. You ready to talk about some announcements, my friend?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Let's do it. First one up tonight, Human Desire, coming from Kino Lorber. This is coming on July 11th. This one was previously remastered in 2K by Sony themselves. Not really any genuine special features on here. There's a little featurette called Terror and Desire, but that is it. We got Glenn
Is that a
Ford
previous released one?
Yeah, I think this one was released in the UK previously. Look at that. The top comment there. Yeah, I've been passing on the UK disc for years. Don't like it as much as Renoir's version, but still it's pretty great. Yeah, I think this is a previously done featurette for another Sony release.
It's got a pretty slipcover.
It does. And reversible art, which Kino can't always do nowadays.
Yeah, that's cool. I noticed that.
They're not able to license reversible art all that often, actually.
It feels like they're on their Blu-ray titles. They have it quite a bit.
It depends. So, depending on who their partners are. Like Sony is usually pretty good with it. But there's like their French titles recently, they've not been able to get any reversible art, which they've been hitting a lot this year. So that makes up a big.
So that's just when they're not able to get the original poster art for the reversible.
Either that, or they're only allowed to license the reversible. The studio doesn't want them to put any commissioned art on it.
Oh wow!
Which, because they own the rights to it, they get to decide either way. It's
sons of guns.
It gets super technical. Next up, this is pretty damn cool. Not a lot of people shop through SRS Cinema, but sometimes they get something crazy like this. July 25th, they are releasing the story of Hong Gil Dong. This is from 1967. Now, the reason this is important, because this is Korea's first ever animated movie. And this is the first time it's ever been in HD. This is fully restored. It's got the original Korean audio with the English subs, and it's got the history behind Korea's old fable by Eugene Alejandro. And this looks like a really cool release. They put up a trailer for it, and it's one of those, it's not bad animation, but you can tell it's a very early animation for them. And it's just a really, really cool release that they were able to get. I'm honestly kind of shocked that they could get this.
Who's putting that one out?
SRS Cinema stands for Sub Rosa Studios.
Cool.
They unfortunately they're known for a lot of like the shot on video or straight to DVD type of like slashers and stuff like that.
They
do
got
those
some
a
Korean
lot.
animation. It's pretty cool.
Out of nowhere from
Wide range.
1967. July 25th, we are getting from
I got some
Cinedigm.
questions on this one.
Interesting. From Cinedigm and Screenbox, we're getting Hollywood Dreams and Nightmares, the Robert Englund story. This will also have a steelbook version. This is the inner art, and then this is what the steelbook looks like.
It's a nice steelbook.
It is, although the back of this...
Yeah, well, I put that text right there.
Right. I mean, have it on a removable J-card or something. This is going to have some special features. We got a conversation with the directors, peek behind the curtain of Dance Macabre, Nightmare Cafe with Jack Coleman, Robert English Chatterbox, horror icons, an official trailer, and all of the usual extras like trailers and such. What's the question on this one, my friend?
All right, go back to that. So you'll see where my mind goes with stuff like this. So it says that the number on the spine is 11.
Yep.
How is this 11? They've done 3.
Yeah.
Is there 7 in the middle that we don't know about?
Well,
that are coming?
That's the thing. There are 7 in the middle that we don't know about. It depends on the company. Some do it fully in release order, and they wait to assign numbers until they are for sure set with the release date. But then there are other companies, like Indicator is one of these, where they will give it a spine number when they license the title. And they'll say, instead of like a spine number, this is a catalog number for them. And as they go through, this number is sticking with this title no matter what, even if it gets delayed for 2 more years. And so Indicator, I can't remember exactly what number. They're up to like 300 or 280 or something like that. They have still not released number, I think it's like 148. And it's still just sitting there blank on everybody's shelves if you got the full collection. And I imagine if you were doing that in order and you had like OCD about the numbers, that would be super bothersome. But yeah, not everybody does it in order on release.
I mean, I'm not necessarily a completionist. It doesn't like necessarily bother me, but I decided I did want to start collecting for this line because it just got started.
Yep.
So that kind of, I guess they're going to be busy over the next few months then. Are they planning to?
Well, they've at least licensed this many, so we can expect someday for those other ones to come out.
Yeah.
But then the hard part, like Indicator, they've canceled a couple titles. So something like Ishtar got announced and then it got canned. That had a catalog number. So that might be blank literally forever.
So they're not going to go back and like plug something in there?
Probably not.
Oh my! They have to know that's going to annoy people, though.
I'm sure they do.
You would think they'd do something.
Let's go to the next one, which is Renfield. This is coming on June 6th on Blu-ray only in the United States. Any thoughts on that seemingly odd predicament that we find ourselves in on this?
Well, if it's kind of tough to figure out like why do they decide like some movies don't get 4Ks and some movies do? Like they can't just base that on the box office.
Nope.
Because the box office of this movie didn't do well. I know that, but in a lot of cases, the box office for movies don't do well and they still get 4Ks.
Well, not only that, this has been in the works since before the movie came out. This is coming out on June 6th. There's no way they decided now.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen this movie yet, but from the trailers, like this movie would look phenomenal in 4K. So I have no idea why they wouldn't do a 4K for this one, but it's Universal. Like Universal seems to be the one that's just going like Blu-ray only on most of their stuff lately.
The worst is the ones that are getting a 4K in the UK and a Blu-ray only in the States.
Didn't I see something about a UK steelbook for this potentially coming out? Or
Evil Dead Rise is getting a 4K steelbook in the
Evil
UK.
Dead Rise, which we'll talk
about
here in a second.
Cocaine Bear is getting a 4K in the UK, but not in the US.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I can figure is that, it's what other people have said too, but Shout Factory's going to do 4Ks of them down the line. Universal's got some kind of deal with them, but I just don't understand why they would do that for like their new movies.
Right.
And like this and Megan, like Megan would have sold well on 4K. People would have bought that.
We also don't have precedent for that. We don't have any title that we can say this happened, so that's possible that that's happening.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Yeah, I have no idea. Hopefully they don't do the. Well, I mean, I would want it on 4K, but hopefully they don't put this out and then 3 months later it's a 4K. I don't feel like Universal has had that pattern necessarily.
Nope. That's Paramount.
That's a Paramount move. That's a Warner Brothers move.
Yep.
But who knows? I mean, Violent Night too. Like that movie would have looked great on 4K.
And I believe that one got a 4K in Germany.
Did it? Shit.
Or no, I'm thinking of Christmas Bloody Christmas, maybe. They both came out around the same time.
Yeah. But like a 4K Steelbook, I don't know. Universal's kind of weird right now.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of them are kind of weird at the moment.
Yeah, they're right there with Disney for me.
Understandable. We got some more 88 Films announcements. In the UK, on July 24th, they are giving us The Torture Chamber of Dr. Sadism from 1967. Ooh. This is a Christopher Lee film.
How many films has Christopher Lee been in? Because I feel like every single horror film from like the 60s, 70s, 50s has Christopher Lee in it. Exploitation movie.
He's been in many of them, that's for sure.
Has to be like 400 movies.
Plus Lord of the Rings.
You know what the first Christopher Lee movie I ever saw was? Can you guess? Just think about it. One I would have watched when I was like 7.
7. Let's see. That would put middle of the his final Dracula film.
No, Gremlins 2.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yep, I was thinking mid-80s. I shouldn't know. July 24th in the UK, we are getting Curse 2: The Bite from 88 Films. And they have confirmed through one of their producers that this is getting 0 special features. So there you have it.
That's not good.
Nah. Jim Powers wants to know, do you guys really think they sold 13,000 of those Superman Steelbook sets that fast, or they yanking our crank?
What? They might have.
Where did the number 13,000 come from?
Yeah, I haven't heard that.
Because as far as I was aware, it went up for sale on Amazon and sold out within like 48 hours.
Yeah, I should have got that. Did you get it?
I did not. I'm not a big enough Superman fan to say I need
it's too expensive. $150.
That's what I was gonna say.
But I should have known. They did that same BS with freaking Ghostbusters.
He says there's a certificate in the set, and it's printing on the certificate. I wonder if that 13,000 is worldwide, because the UK seemed to get a whole bunch of those sets.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. I didn't realize they were numbered. That's actually kind of cool for them. That's pretty surprising.
Yeah, Warner Bros. Doing some cool stuff for their 100th anniversary.
Stan Geezy says, I think Will Wheaton has denounced Curse 2, as he should.
Have you seen this movie?
Again, I think years ago, I would say that I haven't just because I don't have enough details on my mind, but I think at one point I did.
It's not as good as Curse 1?
No, it's probably a little better than Curse 12, but yeah, not quite as good as Curse 12. Let's go to the next one. Next up, we're getting The Postman Fights Back in the US and the UK. Taxi Hunter, this was delayed. This is coming in the US and UK. The Thomas Crown Affair from 1999. That's in the UK only. And Double Impact in the UK only. These are all coming at the end of August from 88 Films. One thing I kind of wanted to shout out here now that we're bringing it up. I don't know what's going on, but a lot of the UK releases lately are being delayed like crazy. Are you paying attention to those very much? Because I know you do a lot of the US stuff.
Yeah, no, not as much, no.
So Arrow Video obviously has had their fair shake of delays, but 88 Films and Indicator, they just continue to have delays and delays and delays on stuff. Not sure what's going on. Not sure if they have some sort of different production line that things are delayed over there that are not delayed in the US for some reason. But yeah, these are hitting the UK kind of hard. Really interesting.
What do you think's going on?
No idea, because you can really argue it differently when things like Eureka in the UK. I don't remember the last time a Eureka release got delayed like this.
Yeah.
And it's not like they have a stranglehold on a paper manufacturer in Leeds or something like that. It's interesting. Although I've heard, from what I hear, Eureka kind of like makes everybody work under pressure. One of the people that does
Slave drivers
commentaries,
over there.
not slave drivers necessarily, but they'll call and say like, "Hey, do you want to do a commentary for this release?" And the person will be like, "Yeah, sure, I'm in. When's the deadline?" And they'll be like, 10 days. And releasing in 25 days. Hold on. You got to have enough time to print that disc. What's going on? No, just get it done, please.
Hey, sometimes it'd be like that.
If it works, it works.
Their stuff don't get delayed. You just said it.
Exactly. Mondo's here. What's going on? Was looking forward to this all week. Glad you are here to hang out with Ken.
You got Thomas Crown Affair, and does Thomas Crown Affair have a release over here?
I don't think it. Not a good release, at least.
Yeah.
And
those aren't 4Ks either, are they? Double impact.
None of these are. And that's the other thing. If you're not paying attention to 88 Films, maybe you haven't heard this. I think they've released 3 4Ks so far, and all 3 have needed replacement programs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for really bad reasons. So, yeah, I'd be keeping an eye on their quality over the next couple of years. They did Cannibal Holocaust. God, there was another one that I had recently. Hell of the Living Dead, I think, was a 4K. And then there's one more that Severin is releasing as well. Yeah, but they've all got like timing issues or stuff out of sync or sound issues. It's a lot to invest in a release like that and then just completely ruin it at that last second. Another month of releases from 88 Films. September, they are giving us the Long Arm of the Law 1 and 2 collection. This is coming in both the UK and the US. The UK is getting a release of the Flesh and Blood Show, the horror films of Pete Walker. All of these were released in the US.
That box set looks freaking badass.
It does, and I'm going to zoom in on that for everybody. Although that might be a nipple, so I'm going to go back to that. All of these were released by Redemption in the US, but they were released like almost a decade ago, literally. So we will see if we get new releases, and nothing is saying that these are new scans either. It might just be the same exact disc coming out in the UK finally. And then finally, The Last Blood, which is also known as Hard Boiled 2, is coming out in September, also in the UK and the US.
Nice.
Hard Boiled 2. Now this is pretty damn cool. We got an update from Vinegar Syndrome about their upcoming sale. And the first thing is they showed us this box art for A Blade in the Dark. And it looks to be this split box style where the
that's awesome.
Top half-ish is going to slide off, and then you will be able to pull it out of the side of the slipcase. And then they went into details on this. They were kind of hyping up during their flash pre-order that this is going to be a much more expensive than it was during the actual sale. And this is kind of why here. It says it got a massive comprehensive restoration. 3 master restoration artists each spent over a month getting it to look better than ever before, and it's being put on a UHD 100 disc. That's the biggest size disc that you can put out on a 4K. And then to celebrate this brutal giallo, we've designed a brand new magnetic box to house all of the terror, and they are including a 40-page book of essays to round out the package. Sometime this week, we're going to get full specs on it, probably tomorrow. They usually send out their newsletters on Fridays.
I pre-ordered this. Is this a subscriber thing only?
It's not subscriber thing only. They did not say that.
So I didn't pre-order it when it first went up with Showgirls, but I pre-ordered it at the beginning of this month. Will I still get this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, So far, nothing is saying anybody won't get this.
Okay. All right. That's what I was wondering when I saw it. I was like, damn, that looks cool. And I know I pre-ordered it, but am I actually going to get it?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see. Sibner says, look at the top. Does that look hollow? Is it going to slide out or slide down as if you were slicing the hand? Does that look hollow? This to me looks like a lid almost that is going to slide over this. So you're going to slide it out like left to right here if you're looking at the picture, and not down, because this part at the beginning here looks to be connected to me. That's a good question, though. That could have been a fun idea, and it very well may be. But yeah, it looks to be like a side loader slipcase, and then you will pull the top off.
Have you seen this movie?
I have. I actually just watched this like 3.5 months ago, sadly. I wish I would have waited for the 4K.
Always sucks, doesn't it?
It's not my favorite giallo, but it's actually really well done. And I grew up in music, really attached to the music scene. This has a really great soundtrack, and it's got a lot of scenes dedicated to music making, actually. So I think it's really important.
I'm looking forward to watching it. Watching double feature, this and Showgirls.
Distorted Vision says Vinegar Syndrome mentioned that nearly all titles on the site will be on sale for the halfway sale. Does this mean that it won't just be titles from February or March and before? No, it does mean that it will be from then and before. And if it's anything like the last sale, it will be anything released before January, actually. They changed that fairly recently. It'll be anything except for the last handful of months. All of that will be on sale. But when they've released, gosh, I think we're up to spine number like 400, something like that. It's still most of the titles. Only like 25 are not going to be on sale. So yeah, they can still get away with saying that. What else? The 2 secret surprise UHDs are shaping up nicely, each featuring multiple cuts and an abundance of extras. And then this fun little addition here, their cumulative kill counts might also be a new record.
What does that mean?
Like probably means it's probably for Vinegar Syndrome.
Okay.
And then 2 wildly different VSAs are also prime examples of the type of early 80s weirdness we love so much, and in their own ways are sort of tributes to America, albeit with creatures, fight scenes, and other countries standing in for the good old US of A. One also will mark its world uncut disc debut. There's a lot of options of what those could be with those clues.
Yeah, so they announced all these May titles back when they did the Halfway to Black Friday reveal.
Except for their 2 secret titles and then these VSAs.
Except for the 2, but they announced that they were coming. And yes. I thought that they were going to be revealed at the beginning of this month, but they weren't. I guess they were always supposed to be revealed at the end of the month. So that's when we're going to get the actual like May releases.
Full slate, yeah.
So when you order those, when they put them up, are you going to get those like right away? Or do you have to wait a little bit longer to get those?
As soon as the sale is over, everything will start shipping that week. So you'll get it probably, depending on how efficient they are, probably sometime by around the middle of June. To somewhere between the middle of June to the end of June. Because they'll ship subscribers first, then whoever ordered from the flash pre-order, and then everybody else after that.
Gotcha.
So depending on how quick they can go, it could be 2 weeks, it could be 6 weeks.
I'm going to start saving my money now. I'm not buying nothing else for the rest of the month.
Good. Sibner's asking, are VSPs normally 50% off? Yes. Yeah, almost always.
What does the sale look like? Like, what can you get titles for? I feel like it doesn't matter. Like with Vinegar Syndrome, their sales, everything's still like $20. Does anything ever drop below that?
Yeah, tons of stuff is below that. But
I know at the beginning of the year, they had a bunch of $10 titles and stuff.
I would not count on that happening. Although they are saying that there's going to be another like Vinegar Syndrome week, the first week of June.
And they're bringing back the subscriber thing.
Yeah, you can get a half-year subscription then. So let me bring up another random title here, and I'll show everybody how this is going to go. So this is Hard Rock Zombies and Slaughterhouse Rock. The slipcover is still in stock here, and you'll see the price for this is listed right now as $31.99, and the MSRP, which is slashed out, is $44.98. So you can see what the price is going to be. It is half of that slashed through price. So this one will be $22.49. So for 2 titles, that's
with a slipcover.
2 titles with the slip, that's pretty dang good, actually. Some of their other titles are going to be less. It'll be, let me get back to this. I'll minimize this for a second. Some of the titles that has an MSRP of like $35 will be down to like $17.50, obviously. Some of their older Blu-rays or DVDs, those are going to be down to like some of them like $11-12. But a lot of those people don't really buy as much anymore because they either already have them or they're just not into them.
Yeah.
Let's see. VSL box set and the variant slim's probably still more. Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of stuff that gets revealed. Let's talk about that because they released.
Wasn't there also supposed to be like some kind of 10 movie box set thing?
Yes, that got delayed to later in this
back,
year. Yeah.
Okay.
And if you are a subscriber, you will be getting that. And since that got pushed back, if you're doing the half-year subscription, my logic would deduce that you're going to get that box set if you subscribe to the second half of the year.
Yeah, unless they push it to next year.
Well, I don't think they will because it's meant to be for the 10-year anniversary. And that would be, unless they make it an 11-movie box set.
Yeah.
Let's see. The next Vinegar Syndrome Labs is also a first. It'll be a box set. This 4-film collection is something we've been wanting to do for a long time. It will also mark our first foray into this particular breed of out there European cinema. We hope you like it because there's plenty more where these came from. Again, that can mean a lot of different things. They're so cryptic.
Yeah. This particular breed of European cinema.
The halfway subscriptions officially return. Just as we moved the yearly subscriptions from Black Friday to January, we are moving halfway subscriptions from the halfway sale to July 1st. July 1st. That means we will be having a mini subscriber week, July 1st through 7th. More info on that will come. And then we'll also have a fresh array of shirts, merchandise, posters, and more, in addition to 2 new catalog slipcovers and 2 exciting variant slipcovers done in the iconic art style befitting our upcoming VSL box. A lot to unpack.
There always is with Vinegar Syndrome. They keep things interesting.
They top of the game for marketing.
Yeah. It's very
You
impressive.
Can't explain a box of Emmanuel movie? Come on.
Should be like, I've tried to, sweep some things under the rug, with the Franco Blue Underground 4Ks I got. What's that? They're fine. A couple boobs here and there. That's it.
Point Break saying, I miss not having to pay sales tax of Vinegar Syndrome. Me too. This is I don't even think it happened at the beginning of the year for me, but it started in like March that I had to start paying sales tax. They are the only boutique label that charges. Do you think they actually have bigger sales than Scream Factory? I mean, honestly, yeah, probably. I think the only sale from Scream Factory that was probably been bigger in recent years was their 10-year anniversary sale last year. That was actually a decent sale. Everything else is really poor from Scream Factory.
The Shocktober one where they shipped it all to us in January.
Yep. But hey, you got a free shirt if you spent $100. I
did get that free shirt. I did.
Man, maybe I should not repeat that on stream. I did an experiment to see if it would work, and not thinking I was going to get away with it, I found $100 worth of titles on the sale, put it all in my cart. Then I went and put a couple of the pre-orders in my cart, and took everything out of my cart except for the cheapest sale item. That was $8. They still shipped me that shirt.
Did they?
Yeah, I spent $8 on the sale, and I got the shirt.
That's cool. Hell yeah.
Let's see.
It was a nice shirt.
It was, yeah. Surprisingly well done.
So he was talking about sales tax. So they didn't used to do sales tax for Vinegar Syndrome stuff?
Any online store is not required to charge sales tax.
Because I know Kino doesn't. Like, I've noticed that.
Any online business is not required to charge sales tax on your purchase unless they sell over a certain amount in your state.
Okay.
Online. So I don't know what that number is because I don't know tax law, but basically they are legally leaving the sales tax up to you. You're supposed to report that legally at the end of the year and still pay sales tax on it, but nobody does.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. There was another question there, and then I pulled it down. Do I think we'll get another 10 for 10 for the halfway? Honestly, probably at least one day. Yeah. Reggie, is sales tax based on the state you live in? Yes, but again, it's just depending on the sales. So I bet there's probably not a lot of Vinegar Syndrome buyers in Alaska. If you are a buyer in Alaska, you probably don't have to pay sales tax on it. Just hypothesizing.
Yeah.
Sibner got charged sales tax by Kino, and that's probably true because I think Sibner lives in New York, and they probably sell more than enough to New York. There you go. Another one. Wander this world. I'm in New York. Every online site charges me sales tax. Total bummer. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I know Scream Factory charge me sales tax.
Yep. And that's, yeah, I bet
I'll end
they
up spending
do.
$50 for a $36.99 4K.
Was that it? Only $50?
With their shipping and their sales tax, and
you should have just added on the poster cards, and it'll end up being $90 for you in free shipping.
I rarely order from them anymore. I did for Creep Show, and I did it for the Chuckies. But I was getting in the habit of ordering from them a little bit. But when I got that Evil Dead 2013, I got really pissed off because it was all the slipcover was damaged, and it was just one 4K, no special features, and it was my fault. I didn't read the fine print. But also, they're dirty and they don't announce special features until after you're able to pre-order.
That's messed up, yeah.
And
what's going on, Fish?
Yeah, other labels do that too, but
no one as bad as Scream Factory, that's for sure.
Yeah. And it's all I feel like it's like 2 weeks before it comes out. Sometimes they'll announce like the features. We're pretty close.
Not gonna say like to one up or anything like that. There's been one time because Scream Factory is known that if they get something printed into their warehouse, they'll ship it to you, even though it's not out for another couple weeks. That's like one of their biggest perks of pre-ordering. I have gotten a title in hand before they announced online what the special features were.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Makes sense.
Really ridiculous.
Yeah, all right. I'll just order it and then I'll forget about it.
Exactly.
And I'll move on to something else.
I know you know this one. Turbulence from 1997 is getting a release from Kino. No release date on this yet, but it's going to be from a 4K scan of the OCN. Why don't you tell us what you think about this Ray Liotta film?
I've actually never seen this movie.
Come on.
Never seen Turbulence. That's interesting. It came out in 1997. Same year as Air Force One. I don't know how I missed out on this one. It feels like I would have been right there for this movie. But for whatever reason, no, I never watched it.
I think I saw this on TV in like 98 or 99. I hardly remember this at all. But I think this was one of my first Ray Liotta movies, too.
So is this like a hijack the plane type of movie? Hostage situation?
I gotta be honest, I don't remember. It's been literally 25 years or whatever. Yeah.
I hope this didn't come out the same weekend as Air Force One.
I mean, you know how the 90s did it. You got to put out Deep Impact and Armageddon the same couple months.
Yeah.
A lot of those copycat films came out around the same time.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm definitely down to watch it, though.
I wish it was going to be a disc, but it's nice that it'll be from a new scan.
Yeah.
Speaking of 4K discs, Kino is giving us a 4K disc for A Fistful of Dynamite from Sergio Leone. This one's also known as Duck You Sucker, of course. This is from 1971. Have you seen this one?
I've not. I just watched the Dollars trilogy for the first time last year.
What do you think?
I loved it. Loved it. Like I really like. I've discovered this about myself. I really dig the Italian cinema because I love giallos and I love spaghetti westerns.
Jim is telling us about Turbulence now. He says Ray Liotta is a prisoner being transferred and he takes over the plane. So yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, that's kind of like the Con Air plot a little bit. Only I guess maybe he's the bad guy in the movie.
Yeah,
that's what he's making it sound like.
Yeah.
But the Dollars trilogy was great. I loved them. But it was Once Upon a Time in the West that I thought was the true masterpiece, and the one that doesn't get talked about enough because I freaking love that movie. That's probably
I just brought that one up on here a couple weeks ago. Yeah. That Blu-ray that came out in the States has been out of print for years at this point.
I watched it on Hulu when I watched it last year. But 3 hours.
I'm hoping Kino can get to that one too.
Every minute of it. I've heard Paramount's doing that one. Like I feel like that's going to be a. There was something with because people thought it was going to be Kino, and they were asking Kino about it. I think it was on Twitter, and then Kino said that they weren't doing it. Paramount was doing it, and that was like a year ago or something. I'm thinking it's probably going to be a Paramount Presents title.
It could be, and it probably
4K.
be 4K. Yeah, interesting.
Because I don't see them doing that, just a regular 4K for that. I feel like they would do a Presents for it.
Yeah, that or one of their wide releases of like a really nice steelbook or something.
That would be awesome. I mean, I'll take it.
Yep.
But no, yeah, the 4 movies that I've seen of his, I really love. So I'll definitely be down to buy this.
The Mets game director for the broadcast team, John DeMarsco, he says, if you like Sergio Leone, you should check out the Superior Sergio Corbucci. Have you seen any of his films? He did Django.
Yes. That was one of the first 4Ks I remember watching that just blew my mind.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. Yeah, great movie. I knew that Tarantino's Django was based on an older Western, but I didn't know that it like borrowed the opening song and everything.
And it brought Django. He was actually in it.
Yeah, Nero was in Tarantino's. Yeah, I remember watching that. I think that was in the special features for the Arrow one. Yeah. That was a really fun movie, though. It's a completely different type of movie than Tarantino's, but that was a fun one. And that Gatling gun in the coffin took out that whole town. That's pretty cool.
I'm still amazed that movie was released in 1966, and we had updated interviews from Franco Nero in 2018, clear as day, remembering like, yeah, I drugged that coffin for like 7 hours that day, and they just filmed it, and like, man, that was 52 years ago, and you remember every day on set. How is that possible?
Yeah, that was cool. That was a really good release.
Yep. Really Arrow crushed it, that's for sure.
They were on fire when they started doing those 4K box sets. The Tremors one was like freaking out of this world. Kevin Bacon was on there. I was like, geez.
Yep.
You guys are killing
good release. Next up, this is the giant Gila monster coming out from Film Masters. And what's funny is I included the Film Detective on here instead of Film Masters. It looks like the Film Detective is sort of becoming Film Masters. Film Detective is pretty much no more, and now it's Film Masters. They've got all of the titles that the Film Detective had licensed, and now they're releasing them. This is one that a lot of people have been looking for a while, actually, and it is coming from a new 4K restoration of the film. This is from 1959, and I can't wait to check this one out.
Yeah, looks cool. So Film Detective's gone, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I've got somebody.
Tim's going to be upset. He was the biggest Film Detective fan I knew.
I've got somebody from that is close to the situation in my Discord and was explaining the situation to us today. That basically there's one person left at Film Detective handling some of the stuff that they had left over, but the guy that was running Film Detective is now doing Film Masters.
Cool. You know what it was? It was those black cases that confused everybody and made them think they were getting 4Ks. And
it had to be.
They got complaints.
Just complaining, yeah. But physical media fans, they don't ever complain, so that can't be it. Yeah, there was no sarcasm there, I promise.
No.
All right, let's talk about this one. So Cape Light released Bloodsport on 4K in Germany on 2 different media book releases. They just announced they're putting out this 4K Steelbook release on July 14th in Germany. But also, they were talking about this today, saying, international customers, we do not suggest you buy the German release of Bloodsport. Stay tuned for our page next week. Completely implying that there is a Bloodsport 4K release coming internationally from Cape Light, possibly getting announced next week.
Oh, that's interesting.
Not a guarantee, but it certainly does seem to say.
So you're saying that Cape Light is going to do one for us?
Cape Light has been releasing stuff internationally for a while now. They're the ones that put out that All Quiet on the Western Front 4K media book in the United States.
Oh, okay.
They did it with MPI.
I need to grab that.
And so this is the second release of Bloodsport, but it sounds like they're going to be putting out something internationally, whether that be in the US or it might be in the UK. But they're hitting international stuff hard in the coming months. So either way, there looks to be an English-friendly 4K release of Bloodsport coming soon, probably.
Cape Light's coming to play.
Yeah, it kind of seems like they're on the verge of taking over the world at this point.
Nice.
Similar, yes. The All Quiet on the Western Front had English language in the book, so they have an entire page dedicated to Cape Light International. So be prepared. They are releasing stuff, and it is media books are coming from them in the U.S. in English language.
Who released the standard 4K of All Quiet? Was that them too? Because
Was
in
that
Best Buy, it was just the 4K case of All Quiet.
yes? So
Maybe you
it's
didn't get it.
Cape Light oversaw everything, and the company that did the distribution, which you'll see on the side of it, is MPI, which is another distribution company that's big in the States. I feel like the Cape Light branding was on it on the back, but I don't remember looking for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cape Light and MPI are partnered together through it.
I need to grab that for those media books run out.
Absolutely. I put out an interview this week with Amanda Reyes, who does a lot of commentaries, especially on made-for-TV movies. Check that out if you get a chance. Okay, we brought up this one earlier. Evil Dead Rise is finally confirmed to be getting a 4K in the States. This is coming on June 27th with 0 special features.
Really?
0 special features. What?
Wow.
It's an Evil Dead film.
You got Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi involved. There's no commentaries or nothing?
No special features.
Are you kidding me?
Nothing on the disc.
Just a gold banner that looks incredibly ugly on this cover.
Covering half of the film.
I was going to say, I like the gold banner. I really do. But this is one example of it where it just doesn't work well.
Yeah.
On the cover. They should have made it blood, like blood red or something. That would have been cool.
I would have loved that. Take the 100 logo and theme it with every release.
Have they done that? I feel like they did that on something already.
I don't know about the 100. I don't know about the 100, but I know
has it been gold on everything. For some reason in my mind, I feel like they themed it with something.
Maybe it hasn't been gold, but yellow.
Rocky doesn't even have it on there. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe not. I might be wrong. Yeah.
Mitchell says
that's crazy,
no special features is not cool, but probably a last minute decision to print in 4K. I mean,
they don't have them on the Blu-ray either, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see this movie. I haven't got a chance to get out the theater to see it, so I mean, I'm looking forward to owning it. But
yeah, and it's a good movie. I enjoyed watching it. It was probably my least favorite Evil Dead film, but it's still really well made, and it's. Every single Evil Dead release has had great special features, really nice making of. I mean, there was incredible practical effects in this movie. You couldn't show us a couple days on set. Some
that doesn't make any sense at all.
Nothing.
Warner Brothers does not care about special features, though. They really don't.
Mark, that is a good point. The movie was going to be an HBO Max exclusive, so maybe they just didn't make any. That could be. Could be.
I mean, did they do them, I guess, because they decided it was going to theaters, I think, like 6 or 7 months ago. Do they do all this stuff usually, I guess, while the film's being made? They don't do it. They could at least done a commentary. I mean,
yeah, they absolutely could have done a commentary. I mean, you could have done a Bruce and Sam commentary for this. It would have been expensive.
Who cares if it's going to be on HBO Max? They do all kinds of little documentaries to their movies, like little side things to watch.
Yep. Yeah. You think they would have done something?
Weird.
Next up, June 27th, Welgo is releasing The Tank from 2023. This says, after mysteriously inheriting an abandoned coastal property, Ben and his family accidentally unleashed an ancient, long-dormant creature that terrorized the entire region, including his ancestors, for generations. And look at this. Even this film got 2 different featurette special features.
Welgo's killing it.
Yeah, Welgo does a lot of random-ass creature features. They're not always great, but they're always at least
fun. Tank. Yeah.
This looks solid. I like the art for this, and Welgo does good stuff.
Yeah. When all else fails with Welgo, they just put out another set of Phantasm.
Or Ip Man. Yeah.
Ip Man, yeah.
Coming on July 11th from Grasshopper Films as Pacifiction from 2022. This is a French film. It says on the French Polynesian island of Tahiti, the High Commissioner of the Republic and French government official De Roulet is calculating man with flawless manners. His somewhat broad perception of his role brings him to navigate the high-end establishment as well as shady venues where he mingles with the locals, especially since a persistent rumor has been going around the sighting of a submarine whose ghostly presence could herald the return of French nuclear testing. When I read the synopsis, I was very confused by the first half and then very intrigued by the second half.
Yeah.
Have you checked out anything from Grasshopper Films?
If I have something from Grasshopper Films in the collection, I don't know about it. I do not know about it. Where do they usually sell their stuff?
It's a U.S. release, yeah.
Will it be in stores?
No.
Will it ever been on the Best Buy shelves?
No.
Walmart?
No.
I don't know. It's possible I got something, but probably not.
They do a lot of really good stuff, but yeah, a lot of their stuff is only released online for the most part. Unless you go to some really great boutique store.
I don't have any of those.
Me neither. Eli, what's going on? Got here late, but can't wait to catch up. We're glad you're here. Next up, another Kino release. July 11th, we are getting Force of Evil from 1948. This is a 2022 4K restoration. We got a new commentary on this by film historian Imogen Sarah Smith. We got an intro by Martin Scorsese, and then the trailer is on this. And yeah, nice film noir.
How'd they get Martin Scorsese, or is that an older intro?
It is. It does not say new, so it's probably 15, 20 years old.
Okay.
Sibner doesn't own a Grasshopper release either. They did. Let me pull up their site.
Yeah, you have to tell me what they did.
They do a lot of Hong Sang-soo films. You and I were talking Asian films before we went live, and you don't have a huge Asian films catalog, it sounded like.
No, I've seen I Saw the Devil, and I've got Parasites. There's probably a couple other ones I'm not thinking of, but that's pretty much it.
One of their best releases is Hong Sang-soo's Days, and it's an astonishing release. It looks beautiful, great movie. Pretty much anything from Hong Sang-soo is wonderful. So if anybody is into Grasshopper or wants to try out just one, buy one from that director. Nice. Film Addiction. Do I only purchase online or in stores as well? Honestly, I don't get to go to a lot of stores that often. I work like 50 hours a week, and then channel stuff is another 15 hours, and then taking care of kids. There's not much store time for me.
There's nothing interesting going on out there anyway.
Well, and all I have is Best Buy and Walmart, and
it's almost pointless to go there.
Right.
I went to Best Buy and Target today. Target just makes me sad every time I go in there. They got some cool NECAs on the back wall that I look at every time and think about buying, but I never do.
Target is like a shell of its former self.
Yeah, it's sad. It's all sad. You know, and Walmart's used to have 4K sections and Steelbook sections, and they used to have Scream Factory titles, and it's almost like 90% DVD. I'm not trying to DVD shame anybody. If you still buy DVDs, that's fine. But it's almost like they just regressed.
I agree.
All right, now everybody just buys DVDs, so that's all we're put out.
And you know, that's probably the case. A lot of the people that shop at Walmart are probably only buying DVDs.
I rarely see a 4K. If something's supposed to have a 4K, it's not out or on the shelf. It's usually just DVDs for most all the new releases, and then maybe you'll get a Blu-ray sprinkled in. At my Walmart, I've seen some people shopping like on TikTok and YouTube that just have some awesome Walmarts. Some Walmarts that haven't done their DVD makeover yet, and they've got everything on the shelf.
Coming though, probably.
Yeah.
Let's go to our next one. This is coming from Milestone Films, which is a partner label of Kino Lorber. This is coming on July 18th, and it is The Spanish Dancer, and this is the 100-year anniversary. This is from 1923.
Nice.
This is starring Antonio Moreno and Paula Negri. This is restored by the Eye Film Museum, and it's a joy to behold on the big screen. The film is action-packed, witty, and romantic with huge sets and a cast of thousands. Never seen this one.
I was going to say, have you seen this one?
Nope. I'm very, very blank spot for anything pre 1940. I've probably seen maybe 20 films from before 1940.
I randomly one year I was like, I'm gonna watch 10 movies from every year in the 30s, and I watched like 10 or 11 movies from 1931, and then I stopped. So I've seen some movies in the 30s, but the 20s I don't think I've seen anything. I've got a few in my collection, but I do
don't
want to watch
remember.
Metropolis and Dr. Caligari, um, some Fritz Lang stuff. I think I got a couple of Fritz Lang titles.
If you want an exciting one that's around that age, I always throw out The Man Who Laughs. I think that's from 28. It's
Yeah.
the character that inspired the Joker. And
Is that Arrow Academy? No,
they
that's the Man
may
with 1,000 Faces, I think.
yes, yeah. Somebody else released it in the UK. It might have been Eureka, but in the States it was Flicker Alley.
I've seen images from that one.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful movie. Even Tony says he only buys online now for the most part.
It's sad out there.
Yep. Oh, that's what I was about to say. I can't remember what keynote title it was. I think it was the Nasty Women box set that they did recently. That thing had a film, like a short film from 1898 in it.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Didn't Kino do the didn't somebody do the Trip to the Moon movie?
Arrow Academy did that in the UK for sure.
Wasn't that from the 1800s?
I think so.
80 or something?
Yeah, 97, 98, something like that. Let's see. Reggie says they still have an overflowing bin at my Walmart, but they're all DVDs.
Yeah, I know. They used to have a full Blu-ray bin.
Yeah. Cohen Media Group, which is also a partner label of Kino Lorber, on the 25th of July, they are releasing this Douglas Fairbanks double feature. It has Robin Hood, and it has The Black Pirate. A lot of people were looking at this cover and thought it was one movie called Robin Hood and the Black Pirate. This is two different films. And the Robin Hood film is from 1922, and the Black Pirate is from 1926. But I do agree that graphic probably could have been a little better at clearing.
Could they not put the Black Pirate on the cover with him?
Or put the Black Pirate in a different font? Or
you know why they couldn't do that? Because they don't have the room with that big, ugly-ass gray banner that goes around.
You don't like that giant C?
All their releases.
Two different films, boo. You want less content. Got it.
Less content for your money. We don't get time for that.
These are both going to have new restorations, and Robin Hood is actually a new 4K restoration. There's an audio commentary for The Black Pirate by film historian Rudy Belmer. And then The Black Pirate has outtakes with commentary by Rudy as well.
That's
and then
cool.
Somehow there's additional outtakes that are half an hour long.
You say these are both from the 20s?
Yeah, 22 and 26.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll ever watch this stuff, but it does make me happy to see this stuff like announced and coming out. Like
with new restorations.
Yeah, these movies just being restored, not lost in film history. Does make me happy.
97 years after they were released the first time.
I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah.
They just need to, make their covers a little bit more attractive and somebody might buy it.
I've got quite a few Coen films, but yeah, I agree. June 26th in the UK, June 14th in France, June 29th in Germany, and September in the United States. That last one coming from Lionsgate. Studio Canal is releasing on 4K and Blu-ray as part of their Vintage World Cinema Collection, Le Mépris, which is also called Contempt, from 1963. This is a Godard film, and this was restored by Studio Canal with the support of the CNC. The image was scanned and restored in 4K at this lab, and then in order to optimize the 4K, the original 35mm neg and the intrapositive were used, as well as the reference print reworked in 2002 by the previous restoration. The restoration took 220 hours, allowing to compensate for the defects linked to the wear of time, such as deviations in colors and lighting. This new restoration will enable audiences to discover this as it was intended to be viewed. There is a handful of features on this, and any Godard is going to get a good, solid release.
Nice. Good stuff.
And it's, I mean, a freaking worldwide release. We're getting stuff in the UK, France, Germany, and the US, all in the span of a couple months. That's pretty great.
So is Vintage World Cinema, is that like a sub label of Studio Canal? Is that
Kind of, yeah. It's branding that they use for like important films that they're putting out.
okay? I feel like I have one in the collection.
Probably they've done a couple big ones over the last year.
Did they do? Did they? I feel like did they do the Ran 4K?
Maybe,
I feel like I've seen the Vintage World Cinema on something I got.
maybe. Laurent Omanzik from Wicked Vision in Germany. He is in LA right now filming a Vincent Price documentary.
Oh,
He's checking
nice.
in. He says, "What's going on? Keep up the great work. Love you, buddy. Cheers, Laurent and Daniel. Have a safe trip, man." He interviewed Mick Garris yesterday.
Oh
He
wow,
interviewed John Landis yesterday.
John
And
Landis.
he's had
Damn,
an incredible trip so far.
that is incredible.
I can't wait to
Nice,
see that documentary.
nice.
All right. Next one. This is a little more
South Park.
contemporary. We're following up. Can we all just appreciate from Godard to this?
South Park. That's the beauty of physical media
Godard,
collecting.
South Park. Seasons 21 through 25 is getting their box set release from Paramount July 18th. Over 35 classic episodes from seasons 21 through 25 have been packed into this one kick-ass collector's edition. This is going to have audio commentaries from Trey Parker and Matt Stone, deleted scenes, and concept art. I'm just glad they continued with this because I remember the first four they released, obviously almost 5 years ago now, and I was worried they weren't going to do it again.
Do they? Are they up to season 25 now or 26?
25 is out. 26 will be premiering in September or October.
Okay. I have
Which
not
is
watched South
crazy.
Park regularly since probably season 3 or season 4, I feel like. But it was huge when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I go by Kenny, and I heard oh my God, they killed Kenny many times in middle school.
Our friend KB is here. He says he had internet issues. Kenny Levels in the house.
What's up, KB?
How you doing, my friend? Everybody's saying hello to Laurent. That's awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to see what they produce. Next up, I've not been able to see this one, and I really want to. Coming on June 20th from Warner Brothers, we're getting The Covenant, that is from Guy Ritchie, came out this year, and it's the film starring Jake Gyllenhaal. And once again, there are no special features listed on this release. And again, it's a Guy Ritchie release, which usually has pretty good special features.
Yeah, kind of weird. I mean, this is his second movie he did this year, right?
Yeah.
Operation Fortune's coming out, and it's I bet it's probably got special features.
Probably
but it's Lionsgate, and it's got a 4K.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's exactly why. Hey, why don't I just click the wrong thing? Hey, we got some special features announced for the Toxic Avenger 4K collection.
Well, they finally did that.
Yeah, this is coming on August 29th from Troma, of course. We got a new 4K scan and restoration from all of the original camera negatives for every film. They are all the uncut directors or the unrated director's cut because it's the full original camera negative for each of them. They're all going to have HDR. They're all going to be in their original aspect ratio. There are new intros for each film from Lloyd Kaufman, commentaries featuring cast and filmmakers on every film on all of the discs. And you're going to get a Toxic Avenger postcard if you buy this. And then the cool thing, all of the discs in this release are region free. So no matter where you are, you can pick this up and enjoy them. And then the only other thing to shout out, I wanted to say that the OCN for Toxic Avenger Part 2 was complete, but it was missing several short dialogue sequences in the opening third, which had been removed previously for pacing. And then there was no materials for that dialogue. So they went in and they were inserted from the highest quality digital master that they had. So you might have like a short dip in quality there.
Really? I wish they would reveal like what this is actually going to look like. Like the details of the contents.
I'm pretty sure we're going to get some more information on that. It's May, and this doesn't release till the end of August.
Yeah, because it's like $90 right now, right? Like 93 or something like that.
Yeah, the cheapest you
I'm
can find
not.
this, I think, is like $92.99.
So I've never seen any of these movies, not even the first
Whoa.
one. So I'm not. I'll shell out the money if it's a nice, box set, but I need to see what it looks like first before I actually pre-order.
Well, supposedly Vinegar Syndrome helped with the scans on these,
Yeah,
so they should be high quality.
yeah,
Uh,
it's trauma. Yeah,
it is Troma, so it's going
so
to be
I'm
low
glad that
budget.
Vinegar Syndrome helped.
Yeah. That first Toxic
As
Avenger film is great. It still holds up as
yeah,
very, very offensive and wonderful.
it's one I've been, it's been on my list for a long time to watch.
Yeah.
For
But yeah,
sure.
if you're looking to pick up the Toxic Avenger, I think the cheapest place to get this right now is Grindhouse Video or Diabolic. One of them, it's just under $95, like $92.99. But I think if you go to pre-order it on Amazon right now, it is
I think it was 93 or
yeah,
94 last I saw.
93.99, 94 at the moment. Not terrible, but I'm sure that might even come down a little bit more. But I guess the other part to keep in mind, this is an 8-disc release as well. 4 4K discs, 4 Blu-ray discs. There's gonna be a lot on there.
And it's got new special features.
That's the other thing. They're saying that there's new special features, but really new intros for each film from Lloyd Kaufman. None of the other commentaries and all that other behind the scenes stuff, none of that other stuff says new. So I think they've been on all previous releases before.
Okay. Well, I mean,
So,
it'll be stuff I haven't had before. So
true, probably true. Okay, so this is maybe one of the coolest announcements of the week, in my opinion. Coming this fall from Criterion and Janus Films, they are making a new line called Janus Contemporaries. This is going to be where Janus and Criterion are joining together to have a new line of home video editions of first-run releases fresh from theaters following their streaming premieres on the Criterion channel. So something that will be a brand new film. It'll go to streaming on the Criterion channel, and then the first place to get a physical media release will be from Criterion and Janus as it comes out. We don't know 100% if it'll be a Criterion spine number or it'll be something completely different.
So I know Criterion has their own streaming service, but they have exclusives, like exclusive movies, like new movies on their service as well. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yes, sir. They announced their first package of films here. But the other cool thing is they already announced that the retail price on these, the Blu-rays will retail for $29.95, the DVDs for $24.95, and they are giving us EO, No Bears, The Innocent, Godland, which is supposed to be amazing, and then Tori and Lokita, and finally The 8 Mountains.
Okay.
All high quality films. They're supposed to be great. Very curious to see how this line does for them. But either way, this is pretty much a way for them to get newer titles to bring people in and not have it be a lot of the same important films that they've been releasing on different formats over the last 30 years, basically.
And will this be like a new line? It's not going to be like in the Criterion line or nothing.
They didn't say if it'll have a Criterion spine number, but it sounds like it's going to be its own entirely different thing. I'm more curious if this will be on sale during the Criterion sale, because if it is, that $30 price tag becomes $15 every July.
Yeah, is this going to be like, maybe like a Criterion partner label or something? It's going to be on their site.
I mean, it'll be
them, but yeah.
And Janus has already been doing a lot of the restoration work, so it's the only thing that's really going to be a difference for them is that Janus will have their branding on the actual releases, I'm sure. Interesting. Cool, yeah, this is exciting.
Have you seen any of these?
I have not. I was waiting on EO. I almost picked up the BFI release, but now I'll probably wait and see how the features are going to compare to this Criterion. I've not had a chance. Most of these other ones, they're on the Criterion channel only, and I don't have the Criterion channel at the moment.
Yeah, I've never had that.
Haven't had a chance to in quite some time.
They got a lot of movies on there that they haven't even put out physical stuff for, though.
Oh, yeah, right? Tons of them, yeah. What's Johnny Watching says, I've heard EO is amazing. It's supposed to be great. A lot of people have seen EO that I trust and say that it's fantastic. Tiana, thank you. 94 people in the chat. Make sure to hit that like button, please.
Smash it. Roundhouse kick it.
Bop it. Wait.
Bop it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
Then
even
we got
heard
our...
somebody say titty F that like button. Yeah.
Don't do
Heard
that because there's only
before.
one like button. That'd be awkward. June 27th, we are getting a whole bunch of Warner Archive titles. How much have you dove into Warner Archive over the last few years?
You know, I used to buy quite a few Warner Archives. I got maybe 15 or 16 in the collection, but I haven't bought one in a long time. I think the last one I bought was Stage Fright.
Ooh.
And that was a really good one. That was yeah, that kind of blew my mind a little bit because I'd never heard of that Hitchcock movie, and I was like, damn, this is really great, and like nobody's ever talked about it.
I think they've got like 3 or 4 Hitchcock where they have the best release in the world of that Hitchcock title on Warner Archive.
They always look great, but I'm disappointed that they never have any like special features or anything like that on them.
Oh, I mean, most of them do.
Do they?
Yeah, I think every single one that we're about to talk about does, and there's 6 of them here.
Okay.
June 27th, the first. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I got into them with like The Thing from Another World. Like that's when I started to buy them.
Yep.
And that anthology horror movie From Beyond the Grave. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got a few.
They've got some solid releases for
sure. So they're
sure.
doing special features now.
They've done special features for a long time. A lot of the older ones don't have them, but they've done some good special features. Like some
maybe
of these
they've
you'll
had
see
them on some, but I feel like some that I just haven't noticed any.
For sure.
Or a few that I ran into.
Sometimes they'll get like some of their old cartoon shorts, which is always my favorite thing. You'll get like some old like Joan Collins film, and it'll have a Tom and Jerry short on it.
Oh, cool.
So this one is Angel Face from 1952 with Robert Mitchum and Gene Simmons, and this one has a commentary by Eddie Muller. The next one is Dangerous When Wet. This is the Esther Williams film. This is from 1953, coming out on the same day, June 27th. This has an unused musical outtake from the film. It has a classic Tom and Jerry cartoon called The Cat and the Mermouse. There is a classic Pete Smith specialty short called This Is a Living on there. An audio-only demo recording by Johnny Mercer, and then an audio-only interview with Esther Williams and Dick Simmons. This one has a lot of special features.
Nice. And are they new or are they archive?
Some of them are new. On that one, I think they're all archive.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. And it's not just thrown on there. That's the other thing. Like the Tom and Jerry short on this, The Cat and the Mermouse, it's in HD, which has probably never been in high definition on any release ever.
How many Warner Archives do you have? Do you collect a lot for them?
I think I've got like 2 shelves full, so probably like 60. Something like that. And that's the thing. They always have really great bit rates on the discs. They always look amazing. Really good restorations. Some of their cartoon work, the Tex Avery discs look incredible. Love those releases.
Yeah. I got Innocent Blood. What's the one with Hepburn? The thriller with her. That was one of the first ones I ever bought. Oh, I loved. I can't think of the damn name of the movie, but
it's it's one of her most famous films. Yeah,
where she's blind.
Yep.
Whatever that movie's called. Yeah.
Somebody in the chat will tell us in 5 seconds. Next one is The Old Man and the Sea with Spencer Tracy. This one has a behind-the-scenes documentary called Hemingway, The Legend and the Sea. It doesn't say new, but the Warner Archive stuff never says new. So that one's probably still archival as well. Alone in the Dark, or no, it's Wait Until Dark.
Yeah, Wait Until Dark. Yeah.
Yep.
Got it wrong, Tony.
That was close, Tony.
It's a video game. And a movie, too, I think.
Jim is a little depressed by you not being able to remember that, but neither can
I couldn't. I just, I'm getting old.
Well, and we're running a show. There's like 912 things in our mind. Come on.
They made a lot of announcements this week, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Land of the Pharaohs is the next one. This is a Howard Hawks film in CinemaScope. This one has a commentary by Peter Bogdanovich. It's also got archival interview comments by Howard Hawks, and then a classic Warner Brothers cartoon called Sahara Hair. Yeah,
like they're doing what like people would love Disney to do. Just
Yep.
going back in their catalog and just pulling all these random films from their past and putting them out and giving them nice restorations. It's cool
Disney
work.
just looking back in their vault and going,
Let's put out Snow White again.
this one on
Marvel,
2K.
Avengers.
I wish Warner Archive would do sales like Kino, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think that's one. I just I've never taken part in any of their sales before because I swear I feel like they're cheaper on Amazon just randomly out of nowhere. They'll show up for like $7 or $8. A lot of them.
Yes, nowadays that's true. But were you into the? I know you were out for a little while. Were you into the physical media when they did the 4 for $44 sales?
I remember those. I just never did them.
I think I did 2 of them.
Yeah. I might have done one because, like I said, I've got 16 of them. I doubt I bought all those outright.
That's not too bad.
I might have done one.
Chris says Warner Archive needs to announce The Champ with John Voight and Faye Dunaway, one of my favorites. Nice.
Oh, Night School was another one I loved that they
Night
did.
School's a good one. Yeah.
That one kind of shocked me because I thought it was going to be super like generic, like just a generic 80s slasher. But there's a lot to that movie, and it's really interesting and kind of surprising.
If you look in their slate for like this week, everything for the most part is the 1950s. They need to branch out a little bit. They've got all kinds of stuff, and what they're doing is great. Not taking away from that, and to put out 6 in a month is a big deal. But come on, like there are other decades.
Yeah. For sure.
Let's see. Next one from 1950. The Damned Don't Cry. This is a Joan Crawford film. This one has a commentary by the director Vincent Sherman. There's a featurette called The Crawford Formula, Real and Real. Screen Director's Playhouse radio broadcast from 1951, which is some of those old broadcasts are really great to listen to. All right. And then I think, last one, Caged, also from 1950. Yeah. This one says, Eleanor Parker delivers an Oscar-nominated performance as a girl swept into petty crime and a life behind bars in this dramatic and realistic look at the effect that life inside prison has on a young woman. Marie Allen becomes hardened by life inside a corrupt and dehumanizing penitentiary until she reaches the point that she will do anything to survive the place and the life inside which she is caged. This one has Screen Director's Playhouse radio broadcast from 1951, and then a classic Warner Brothers cartoon, Big House Bunny. So yeah,
Nice.
all six of these have a pretty decent special features.
It's crazy.
Bob, I've been reading the comments. I will absolutely make it happen. Sibner, join the Discord, and then we can talk on Discord.
What does he say? Make it happen.
He's trying to get Sibner to come on and do Reconnected with me. Sibner always has some great commentary, and he's been involved with a bunch of productions. He lives in New York, and he's done camera work with a lot of people.
Be a good guest to have.
Absolutely.
Get on here, Sibby.
September 12th, 4K release of A Bronx Tale from 1993. This is the first Robert De Niro directed film. And the cool thing, this is newly remastered in 4K, but also has new extended interviews with De Niro and his co-star.
That's cool.
And this was released by Imprint on Blu-ray and did not have these new interviews. So this will be quite a bit different.
I have not seen this one either, but I'm always down for more De Niro.
Yeah, and then this one, it's a classic mob boss type of film for De Niro, of course.
For sure.
Everybody's giving Sibner a brand new nickname.
Sorry, I didn't mean to give you a nickname.
Sibby.
Just kind of
July 18th from Kino Classics, we're getting End of the World from 1931, and this is supposed to be fantastic. I've not been able to see this one, but this is Abel Gantz's film, who did Napoleon. This is his first sound film and France's first all-talking feature. It is a multi-billion-dollar super production depicting an approaching apocalypse. Following the discovery of a comet heading straight for the Earth, a scientist helped by his brother manages to unify all the nations of the world and have a universal republic proclaimed. I am dying to see this.
Yeah, it looks really awesome.
This gets a new 2K restoration by the French company Gaumont. And then there's interviews about the film with Laurent Verret, Serge Bromberg, Christophe Gauthier, and Leon Rousseau. And this looks really solid, actually.
Yeah, 1931. That was the year I kind of dove into, but I didn't see this one.
Gotta see it. Fantastic film. Nice. Next up, another Cohen Media Group, which Ken really loves this giant red sea.
Hey, at least it's red.
Persian Lessons from 2020. This is coming on July 11th. Yeah, not many extras on this, just some trailers. Just add into that catalog. This was really cool that this got announced today, though. We are getting from Fun City Editions, and Letterboxd is the one that broke this news today. September 12th, they're giving us a double feature called Fatal Femmes. This has
Letterboxd is breaking news now.
Fun City Editions works closely with Letterboxd, actually. Mitchell Beaupre is one of the main people at Letterboxd, and he is close with Jonathan at Fun City Editions. So he's been doing some special features work, I think. And this is the second time they've broke news recently. And these films are called... I'm probably going to screw up the pronunciation of this, but it's Neige, something like that. But it's, I believe, translates to the name Snow from 1981. And then the other film is called The Bitch from 1984. This is a two-film collection of early 80s French urban set noirs directed by women.
What year did those come out?
The first one is 81 and The Bitch is 84.
Cool.
And The Bitch is one that I had some people tell me was great. It says a policeman on night patrol picks up a young girl and rapes her. The following day, she complains and he is given 6 years. On coming out of prison, he gets work as a private detective and is hired to watch a fashion seller who turns out to be the girl he raped who has never forgotten him.
The nerve of her to complain.
Right? Wait. I heard that wrong. There is a pretty good trailer that was cut for this, and Chris O'Neill, the Common Special Features contributor, is the one that cut the trailer. And I mean, this looks pretty damn awesome. So, can't wait to see some more details on this. But now we got to wait another 4 months for this to release.
You said Fun City Editions?
Fun City Editions. You got anything from them yet?
No. They're not a Vinegar Syndrome partner?
Not anymore, no.
Oh, damn. They branched out on their own?
2 of the partner labels have left now, Fun City Editions and TerrorVision.
Yeah, TerrorVision. I just recently discovered their site.
Good stuff.
No, I haven't got anything from them.
I agree, Reggie. This is the first one that I thought that looks like Julianne Moore quite a bit.
Kind of does. Should have been too young, though.
Everybody is trying to sell Sibner on the Discord, it looks like. The Discord gets wild with takes, reviews, humor, pickups, and topics. I don't know what's going on, but the Discord has been crazy. Like, I will leave for 4 hours and come back to literally, 80 messages to read. One unannounced perk of the Discord is laughing every day thanks to yours truly. Do you realize the health benefits of having a hearty laugh daily?
Have you joined Bob's Feet Discord yet?
No, I was not invited to that one, actually.
Yeah. It's pretty exclusive.
Yeah, I've heard
Everybody
about
just
that
shows feet pictures all day and night.
All right. July 3rd in the UK, they're giving us a complete series legacy collection of The Walking Dead. This has only been released so far coming in the UK. Don't know anything about a US complete series yet, but I didn't finish the show. I watched the first couple seasons, and I'm gonna be finishing it eventually. My wife still has never seen any of this, so yeah.
We were pretty hot and heavy into The Walking Dead until season 6 is when my wife jumped off, and then I gave it another season, and then I jumped off at season 8. It was just going in circles, so I had to bounce.
I was a big fan of the comics. Ever since they started, I stayed fairly up to date on those. But yeah, ever since they fired Frank Darabont on this, it was just, I don't know, it wasn't the same.
And hell, that was after the first season, wasn't it?
It was either the first
The
or like
second?
halfway through the second.
Yeah.
And if I remember right, he just like ended the whole lawsuit process in the last couple of years.
Is whenever they made a mistake going to 16 episodes per season. There was just way too much filler in there. They should have kept it at a nice clean 10, 11, but
Or even 8. I mean, a lot of those shows
8,
do great on 8.
yeah. But
Sibner, yes, the Discord does have an app. The Discord app is fantastic. It is separate from my OnlyFans account, but you get a discount on that if you sign up for the Discord. Tony, of course, has The Walking Dead release coming. Of course.
Oh, he already got that?
He's already bought it. It doesn't come out until July.
I remember when they did that big release with the governor's head in the tank. Not the governor's head, but he had like a head in a tank or something.
Yeah. And
back in the day.
Funny enough, I just did this crazy trade, and I got all of the season limited editions that they did, all of the busts in one trade. And somebody sent me 3 giant boxes, and they're 4 feet behind the table right now. I wish I could grab them and show, but yeah, it's
nice.
They're pretty crazy.
I heard it got better in like 9 or 10 or something. I don't know. It was just one of those shows where it had great moments sprinkled throughout, but you had to get through a lot of crap to get to those good moments.
Well, and they're kind of still doing that as they're doing all of these offshoots. I mean, we've got
yeah. I couldn't even get through Fear the Walking Dead.
Fear the Walking Dead.
I think I watched the first season, but I did not continue on with it after that.
And then there's also a movie coming, I guess, or 2 movies or something like that.
Yeah. They've milked it dry.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I don't know who else, I don't know who today watches that show and still gets excited for it. I guess there's still people out there, but
really big Norman Reedus fans.
Yeah.
Which I guess there's probably a lot of them.
Probably.
Arrow today announced a delay of their release of Black Hat from 2015. This has been delayed to September 4th in the UK and September 5th in the US. And the reason, they say...
For good reason, right?
Yeah, for good reason this time. We listened to your feedback about our release of Black Hat, not including the revised director's cut of the film, and we are very pleased to confirm that the original digital files have been found. It will now be included as a second Blu-ray disc. To allow time for disc authoring and quality control, we are pushing this to September. We hope you understand the necessity for this delay and are as excited as we are to be able to feature this significantly different version of the film alongside the 2 previously announced cuts. Now, they announced that, but quietly, they also, as you can see here, changed the artwork and have taken away any mention of a slipcover in their release.
Those dirty son of a bitches.
So they are just randomly taking stuff away.
So you think it's gone, the slipcover?
100%. It's not anywhere on either of their sites in the UK.
I mean, I didn't love that artwork, but I want my slipcover. Come on now.
You are not getting a slipcover, it looks like.
Wow.
And this has 3 cuts of the film, and it's a 4K release. And
oh, you want that other cut in 4K? Well, we're taking the slipcover.
Well, the worst part, this doesn't say you're getting the other cut in 4K. It says it'll be added as a second Blu-ray disc.
Oh. Arrow for the win.
At least you're getting the director's cut. But yes. To be fair, it was probably a Michael Mann contract stipulation. He probably hated the artwork and said, yeah, take this out.
It wasn't great, but
no, it wasn't fantastic. And it really didn't feel like the vibe of the film either.
It looked like a Atari game or something.
Yeah, kind of. It looked like the
I was like, what is
who
this?
Released it? There was a Parasite steelbook that came out in the UK like 3 years ago that kind of looked a lot like that.
I think I remember what you're talking about.
Tony is here. Stop the silliness.
Tony's been here. Nobody's been silly tonight.
Wow.
Come on, Bob.
Okay. So we finally got some details
one.
on this. This is a big deal. July 18th, Kino Lorber on 4K is giving us To Live and Die in LA. Now, remember, this was announced a long time ago,
A
like
very long
literally
time ago.
9
I
months
get
ago.
questions on this, I feel like weekly.
Yep. Same, absolutely same. They had been saying that it was coming, and then somebody noticed it was up for pre-order on the Kino site, and then suddenly today they dropped all of the details here. There's all kinds of bonus features on here. I believe all of them are archival, but it's loaded with everything that you could really want. You
Yeah.
got the Friedkin commentary on here. This is a new 4K master of the OCN. I mean, you can't really ask for more than what we're getting here.
Looks like a great release.
It
I'm
does, and it'll
excited.
be less than $30 on release, and you can probably get it for 18 at an upcoming sale. And I mean,
I found this on Blu-ray at the Dollar General for $4, and then I feel like the next day they announced it for 4K.
nice.
And I was like, "Damn it!" But it took 3 years, so
Yeah, this has been a big deal. Get ready for so many color correction debates. It's going to happen. Well, the worst part, it was delayed for so long because of Friedkin. He takes so long to approve his
that's
scans.
why they canceled Bug.
Yep,
They want to fool with it again.
exactly.
What was the other one that they canceled from him? Was it 2? Or
I
was it just
don't
Bug?
I don't think they canceled anything else. I think they just announced that this was still coming, just very delayed.
Is
If
that
I
why?
remember.
Do you think that's why it took so long to get The Exorcist?
That's probably a part of it, yeah. I can imagine somebody at Warner Brothers arguing like crazy, like, no, this was not blue. You cannot change the tint of this scene. He's like, that's what I wanted it to be. Something like that.
That's crazy.
Silent Mandible is back. What's going on?
What's up?
Let's go to the next one. Two of Ken's favorite films. This is actually the
My
last one they talked
favorites.
about. June 21st in Australia, Via Vision is releasing Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2 as a double feature.
So
Uh,
random.
this is a 4-disc release, though. This is getting the unrated and theatrical cuts of both films, and it will also include that crazy 4.5-hour documentary on the making of Halloween.
Halloween or Halloween 2? Wasn't there like a one with Halloween 2 that never got released or something?
I don't think that one did ever get released, but the that four and
That's
a half
not on
hour
there.
one is on the first one.
Okay.
All right.
Four and a
So
half
what do you think
hours
of Rob Zombie? Because
of him explaining how he fucked up the franchise and
this is
ruined my
always
fandom.
divisive. Please explain why you love these.
Well, I don't. I've kind of gotten over it by now, but the first one definitely. I was a massive Halloween fan. Ate, slept, and breathed that franchise up until I saw that movie in the theaters. And I hate to say that a remake of a movie that I loved took away from my enjoyment of it, but it kind of
Right.
did. So just the fact that it existed for a while, I didn't watch Halloween a lot anymore after I saw that movie. The second one I hated in the theaters when I saw it, but I've warmed up to it a little bit more over the years. I think that one's okay. And the first one's okay after the origin BS. I was just such a Michael Myers purist Halloween fan that origin just took all the wind out of my sails. I couldn't even enjoy the last half of the movie once we got to it. Michael Myers is a shape. He's a force of nature. He is evil personified. He needs no explanation. And I understand you want to put your stamp on it and do something different, but do it with something else. So that's my spiel.
I have been a fairly loud defender of both of these for quite some time, especially the second one. Most people hate the second one, and I honestly I think
hated
it's
it in the
a better
theater, but
movie.
yeah. The second one's kind of badass. Like
Yeah.
when I rewatched it, I stayed away from it for a long time, but I rewatched it about 3 years ago. I was like, this is actually pretty good. I think that hospital scene in the beginning is freaking
Yes.
awesome. Yeah, I like that one because it's Rob Zombie. I feel like did truly his own thing with that. Got away from the retelling of the same old crap.
Yeah, and it certainly feels like a genuine exploitation, like almost like grindhouse flick of what you would have seen years ago.
Yeah.
The only thing really that watching this makes me feel though, is I really wish he would have been given Texas Chainsaw Massacre instead of Halloween. He would have killed, absolutely crushed a wonderful remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, I agree. It is what it is. It's like the new trilogy actually makes me appreciate these movies a little bit more, to be honest. But at the time, like it just felt like it just stabbed me in my heart, my Halloween loving heart. So I've always resented the first one for that.
I get that.
But going back and watching, I haven't watched it in a few years. I'd probably be fine with it. If they do 4Ks, I'll buy them. But yeah, the second one is good. Like, and you'll hear from most people that they like the first one and they hate the second one.
Yep.
And I'm kind of the opposite on that.
Completely agree. Gus says Rob Zombie's wife needs to stop acting. She sucks bad. The only thing I'll say is to counteract that, you really need to watch The Lords of Salem because that is Rob Zombie's.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah. It's not his most entertaining movie, but it's his best.
I like Rob Zombie's. Most of his movies I've seen. I like the House of Thousand Corpses. I like Devil's Rejects. I even like 3 from Hell. Like everybody complained about that one. I thought it was an okay conclusion. Wasn't great, but I need to see Lords of Salem. I haven't seen that one.
Lords of Salem is his masterpiece. It is genuinely his best movie by a long
I've heard great things about it. Yeah, I need to watch it.
And honestly, his wife, kind of incredible in it. It is easily the role she was born to play. She should not be shoehorned as a main character into every film he does. But Lords of Salem is easily.
Well, that's the thing about Halloween too, except for the white horse stuff. Like she's not really in it all that much. Yep. So I mean, I think Stephen Dorff's incredible in that movie too.
Agreed. Completely agreed. That is it for the week, my friend. We nailed all the announcements. Let's catch in with what is coming out next week in case people forgot, which next week has some heavy hitters that people have been looking forward to. We got that In the Line of Duty box set from 88 Films, I guess supposedly is coming out next week. We got Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. We got the Superman set from WB, which I don't know if you're planning on checking that out. Supposedly, the restoration on that is god awful. I really wish they would have given that to Warner Archive.
Yeah, I've heard.
Targets coming out from Criterion. This was also just announced as coming again from BFI. They'd announced that, but then they had to cancel it. And the BFI extras look a lot superior to the Criterion extras. Kino Lorber releasing The Longest Yard on 4K next week.
That's the one I'm looking forward to the most, probably.
Good. I was going to ask you about Ant-Man and the Wasp too.
I'm not buying that.
Come on, you're not?
No, I'm not a Marvel collector anymore. So I'll get it like when it goes down in price,
Yeah. Cauldron putting out Convoy Busters and Shanghai Joe standards next week. Here's that Operation Fortune we just talked about a little while ago.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll get that or not. Maybe later on when it goes on sale.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I do love Aubrey Plaza, and honestly, Guy Ritchie's a pretty damn good director.
Do you watch the White Lotus?
Not yet.
On HBO?
Not yet. We will.
She was in the second season, and both those seasons are great, but it's like an anthology show, so they change up all the characters every season. But she was in the second one and phenomenal. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That whole season was great.
Sibner is reminding everybody that there are Cauldron Films pre-orders tomorrow. And Sibner, I'm just going to entice you anymore. If you wanted to find out what we thought the Cauldron Films pre-orders are, it's all in the Discord. We talked about it for hours. We got IMDb listings and everything. Come on. Join up. Yakuza Graveyard. This one is getting some rave reviews from Radiance. I've never had a chance to see this film. Can't wait till this one comes in. Endangered Species. This is one that a lot of people over here. Yakuza Graveyard. Nice. Have you checked out any of the Radiance releases yet?
Just the Sunday Woman, and also the big gambling boss. Is that what it is?
Yeah, their first one. Yeah.
Watch that one.
Tony says, "What is this Discord group called?" It's a Patreon. In the description below, you'll find it. You sign up there, and then you get access to the Discord.
Come on, Tony.
Stan says, "I'm going to love White Lotus."
Oh yeah, it's great. The HBO is always great.
Yeah.
Except for The Last of Us, I didn't love that like everybody else.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's very basic, but
I can't remember. I think it's like the first episode and a half or something like that was filmed here in Kansas City.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, something about like before the virus or whatever. I think that part was all filmed in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Endangered Species. This used to be a Warner Archive DVD, and they let that go to Scream Factory for the Blu-ray. But
really,
I'm very curious to see how the Blu-ray looks for that one. I'm very much looking forward to that. That In the Cut release that Ken held up earlier, that is getting its release. You can see Meg Ryan in the cut.
You can see Meg Ryan's bush. She does full frontal in that movie.
What a direct quote. Conquest of Space and I Married a Monster from Outer Space is getting a Scream Factory double feature. That was previously released by Imprint, so probably going to be about the same. Samurai Wolf 1 and 2, that is coming from Film Movement. Those are 2 Hideo Gosha films. I definitely need to pick that double feature up for sure. Violent Streets also coming from Film Movement next week. Miami Vice, are you going to pick up the Steelbook?
I got that one.
Already did. Nice.
I got it. I haven't seen that one. That's another Michael Mann, isn't it?
It is, and I'm curious if this is going to change because 88 Films announced that they were upgrading their release of Miami Vice to a 4K, but it's Michael Mann. So does that mean it'll come out in 2 years now instead of 6 months? Or
I need to check this one out, though, because I've heard some good things about it. But it came out in the era where they were doing a lot of TV remakes, and a lot of them weren't the best, so I never watched it.
It is, it's a little campy, but it's still a pretty well-made film.
Yeah.
The Lake is coming from Epic Pictures, and I got to admit, it does not look very epic. Honey coming from Raro Video next week. Everything Went Fine from Cohen Media. LA Wars that Ken just showed us. That's coming from MVD Rewind. La Petite Mort 2 coming from Unearthed Films next week. Isabella, the Magic Flute.
What's that Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania? Is that the Disney exclusive or something? I haven't seen that cover before.
Yeah, let me open this one up, see what it says. Yeah, Disney Movie Club exclusive, of course.
Tony will have an unboxing on there next week.
Yeah. Of course he will. So your big one was The Longest Yard 4K, huh?
Yeah, I'm excited. But I haven't pre-ordered it yet because I'm a dummy. So I'll get on the Kino website and pre-order it, and I'll get it in 3 weeks. So I won't get it next week. But I like to pre-order the stuff from Kino because it's a little cheaper for one, and you don't have to pay the tax. So
that's a good point.
But I might break down and see the thing with Amazon though, is I was having a lot of issues with Kinos in particular. If I pre-order a Kino off of Amazon, I'm going to get it late anyway, most of the time. I don't have that problem with Scream Factory or anybody else, but if it's a Kino, it's almost like they get it, later. I think you've said that before.
Yeah. Supposedly Kino sends all of their stuff to their retailers that they work with, and then whatever's left on that first print goes to Amazon, which only goes out to the earliest pre-orderers, and then everybody else that pre-ordered, you're kind of stuck for a lot of people. We're talking like 3 or 4 weeks. It's not just a couple days or anything.
Yeah. I think it was Some Like It Hot last year. Maybe it was The Apartment. It was one of those, but I pre-ordered it from Amazon and I didn't get it till like the next month.
Jeez.
And it pissed me off. So ever since then, like I usually always just pre-order off the Kino site. Sometimes I get it early, sometimes I get it on time, and sometimes I get it late, but I'll get it eventually, and at least it's in good condition and not,
Kino's great
damaged.
too because $50 gets free shipping. And then a reminder to everybody, if you go through Grindhouse Video, he discounts every single pre-order. So if something is on pre-order and the retail price that he's going to sell it at is $49.99, he'll sell it for $46.99 just to get you to pre-order through him. So if something is on the verge of selling out, might as well go to Grindhouse Video and get it cheaper. And he does free shipping at $100. So it's kind of perfect.
Yeah, I'll have to check him out.
All right.
Grindhouse more.
Our discussion for the night. This is really funny because speaking of the Discord, I shared with Ken that after he brought this up as a possible discussion point, I showed him that just recently in this week, we were talking about this topic. Thanks, Film Addiction, for the donation. He says 91 people hit that like button, please. Heck yeah. So our discussion topic is going to be on 2010 films. And the funny part of this is I had mentioned that I'm seeing on, I hate this term, but film Twitter, there's a lot of people online that are saying, I don't watch any films past the year 2000 because they're terrible. Only these stuff from like the 70s and 80s was good. And I asked on the Discord, how do y'all feel about that? Because that to me feels asinine. Because I still
Yeah.
think there's been some masterpieces that have been made. What do you think about that?
I mean, in my opinion, and it's probably just because I've seen more in the 2010s, but like 2010s is one of my favorite decades personally.
Yeah.
I think it's better than the 2000s. I think it's second, maybe only to the 90s for me, and the 80s. But as far as like quality, I don't know. There's a lot of great stuff. Like I was trying to pick out a top five, and I've got like 25, 30 over here. I probably could have won 100.
Yeah.
But I really got back into movies in the 2010s, like 2013. I was a big gamer for a long time in like the 2000s, so I missed out on a lot of I saw like the mainstream stuff, but I wasn't watching like a lot of the indie stuff. I think I saw No Country for Old Men and movies like that. But the 2010s, when my kids are born, I got back into movies a lot, and so I saw a lot of stuff in the 2010s, independent stuff, mainstream stuff. So I feel like I have more knowledge on this decade than I do almost any other than
Yeah.
the 90s or 80s maybe, but still a lot of
Yeah.
movies from those decades I haven't seen.
Yeah, that's up there for me as well. Some of my favorite directors have been most prolific through the 2010s. I've appreciated output from promise, that's not a word. Probably some of my directors, they put out, some of my favorite directors have released their best films in this decade. So it's hard to
Yeah,
just discredit it altogether, in my opinion.
for sure. Yeah, when you asked me, like, think of something that you don't get to talk about as much anymore, I'm like, well, I'm always reviewing old classic movies. I'm having a ball doing it because I'm watching a lot of stuff I just didn't get to watch growing up. Um, but sometimes I miss being able to talk about some of these newer films that I just don't feel like I get to talk about often enough
So
because
what we're gonna
everybody's
do,
hyper focused on the old stuff
100%,
in the physical media world, at least.
and then we get Black Hat from Arrow in September, maybe. Uh, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna go over a top five of 2010 films for both of us, and then after that, we're gonna run through and try not to talk for like 6 hours on our honorable mentions and go through that list fairly quickly. But then that'll be it.
Bob's bringing up S. Craig Zoller, and I'm kicking myself because I didn't bring over one of his, but I love all three of his movies that he did in the 2010s.
Absolutely, completely agree. Dude McMahon says, I'm guilty. There's been a handful of films in the 21st century that I like, but I like the look of film too much. Digital film starts to hurt my eyes after a while. I get that, but I mean, also, a lot of the biggest directors have still continued to shoot on film.
Mm-hmm.
Not entirely, obviously, but some of them have. Uh, since you're the guest, do you want to share your number five pick?
Yeah, my number five is yeah, like we talked about, I really struggled with this list because I could have put 50 in my top five, but this really blew me away when I saw it in the theaters. I saw it in 2020. It was right before the pandemic hit. It was one of the last big movies I saw in the movie theater, and that was 1917. Um,
Nice.
I absolutely love this movie. I've always been a pretty big fan of war movies, but just the whole one shot thing that Sam Mendes, and Roger Deakins did with this. Everything about this movie to me is perfect. I love the story. I love the characters. I've heard people say that they don't get into like the characters in this movie, but I absolutely love them. I love their dynamic with each other, and I thought it was great. It's very emotional. Like by the end, I'm like teary eyed, and it was just a stunning movie. And the score by Thomas Newman is freaking great. Um, and yeah, it's fantastic. I love 1917. If Tim was here, he would tell me Dunkirk was better, and I would tell him he's full of shit. But 1917 is where it's at. Got two copies of it. I think I got three copies. I got one big like vault thing they did overseas up there too. But yeah, I love everything about this movie. When I saw it, I was like, I just witnessed a masterpiece, a modern masterpiece. I thought it was perfect, and it's a 10 out of a 10 for me. Love
Wow.
it.
Uh, all of the the work that goes into shooting it the way they did obviously takes an immense amount of work and focus, and the ability to pull that off alone needs to be applauded. Even if say you hate war movies, just to make it look like there's only a couple cuts in that film is next level. It's nearly impossible to pull something off like that,
There's like
especially for a
one kind of clear cut in the movie, and that's it. But I don't know. It just it drew me in from like start to finish, and watching that in the theater on the big screen, it was just like I was just in awe like the whole time, and that rarely happens. So I had to applaud that. Even when I'm seeing like the big blockbuster Marvel movies and all
Yep.
that, and it didn't compare. And I discovered something about myself. I like World War I movies more than I do World War II movies. I just love that trench warfare setting, and
it's more cinematic, I think.
More cinematic, and that whole sequence at the end where he's like running across the field. It's one of the most stunning things I've ever seen on a movie. So I love this movie.
That makes sense to me. My number 5, I'm going to go with fairly early in the decade and go with a movie that I think might have the best dialogue in any film from the entire decade, and that is The Social Network.
I feel like I knew what you were going to say. When you said early and dialogue.
Obviously, Fincher is one of my favorite directors. I have loved pretty much everything he's done, even though I haven't seen The Mank yet. Zodiac is a masterpiece.
Mank's good, but it's not up to Fincher standards for sure.
That's why I haven't seen it yet.
It's good.
Zodiac is more my style overall as a film, but that shows how good this movie is that I am immediately glued to the film. And Armie Hammer pulling twin duty and not as a cannibal is just really well done. Jesse Eisenberg
not as a cannibal
is incredible in this entire film, playing the robot Mark Zuckerberg. And a lot of people forget that he's in this, but Andrew Garfield is kind of incredible in this movie.
He wasn't nobody when this movie came out. So like I watched this movie when it came out in 2010, and I didn't know who the hell Andrew Garfield was. So I almost forgot he was in it too when I rewatched it a few years ago.
Yeah, and it's just such a tense movie. And then you start remembering little details, like Justin Timberlake had a big part in this movie, and he killed it.
He was great too. Yeah.
In fact, he had a couple great roles in the 2010s.
He's
Look
great
at him
in like almost everything he's in.
Yeah,
I like Justin Timberlake's good acting.
Yeah, so this is certainly one that I can go back to quite often. Glad this has a solid release out there now. It's got a 4K and one of those Sony box sets. It's just amazing. Did I say the wrong name, Stan? He's saying Andrew Garfield. I must have misspoke. I'm sorry.
Did you not say Andrew Garfield?
I thought I did the first time, but I might have screwed up the second time.
Oh, sounded right to me. I know who you're talking about.
All right, what do we got at number 4?
I'm going horror here. Nice. I think it might be the only horror movie I have here, but I love horror, and I think horror came back in 2010s.
Damn, I don't have any horror. I just noticed that.
It died for me in the 2000s. I hated the Saw era and remakes, and there's some good stuff in there like The Descent, but I didn't. Yeah,
I said Peter Garfield. What the heck?
You didn't say Peter. Maybe you're thinking of if you did. Did you say Peter?
I may have said Peter, but I trust Stan, so probably. But damn, that's weird.
Maybe because of Peter Parker, Spider-Man. I'm going with The Witch. This is my favorite horror movie of the 21st century. This is a movie that just like genuinely makes my skin crawl when I watch it. It creeped me out. Like I remember watching this like in the dark for the first time, and it's just very unsettling. It just has a mood to it, and it's a very psychological horror movie. And I feel like the more you watch it, the more you get into those psychological undertones, and then you can just really. Did you say James Garfield? You said Andrew Garfield. This movie's a masterpiece to me, though. I love it. The witch stuff just creeps me out in general. And that scene at the beginning where it shows her like from behind and she's like grinding the baby up and the thing, just like I was like, oh my God, like that's disgusting and creepy and scary. And the whole movie, I love the way the family's kind of ripped apart by their own paranoia of each other. And yeah, there's a lot going on in the movie. Anya Taylor-Joy, one of her first movies, and I think she's freaking fantastic. It might be my favorite performance by her. Ralph
Yeah.
Ineson's great too, and the woman from Game of Thrones. I know she's in Game of Thrones. I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but she's fantastic. The boy's great. All the performances are great. It's very accurate to that era. Like Robert Eggers clearly does his research when he makes movies. Yeah. So yeah, just one of the more authentic movies from that era I've seen. I love The Witch.
Yeah, incredibly authentic. I can't keep a straight face while reading some of these comments. Ellie Jewell says I said Gandrew Arfield. Yeah, that's probably.
It's accurate.
Reggie says I prefer Odie. Me too. Yeah, the GOAT is incredible. Anya Taylor-Joy in a breakthrough performance. Scenes in this film are some of the most terrifying films of the last 15 years put on film. Clearly, the work done on the script though is what really makes this a masterpiece. Robert Eggers comes out of the gate and does not let off the gas in this film whatsoever. He is shocking the entire time. This is masterfully directed. One of the things that you pointed out was the paranoia, but the combination of the paranoia mixed with just the pure fundamentalism of this family that thinks that they are believing the right thing and they're sent to the fringes of society and then get consumed by this just god-awful evil. This is an incredible, incredible film.
The thing I love about it the most too is it could have been the movie just about the paranoia, yes, and you didn't know what was going on, and you could have been like, "Oh, this is just a family going crazy and turning on each other." But they let you know up front, no, the witch is real. It's there, and you just get to see everybody just kind of rip each other apart while the witch watches and waits for its moment to strike.
Yeah,
and I love the ending. Oh my god, the ending was so good. Loved it. So creepy.
All hail Black Phillip for sure. Number 4 for me is one that I feel like does not get brought up enough recently, and that's probably because the individual associated with this movie has turned into a little bit of a meme himself, considering what he's done on TV over the last handful of years, and that is going to go with the writer of this movie, Taylor Sheridan's Hell or High Water.
Love it. Great pick.
This movie, this might be a perfect script. There's certain scenes in this movie that I feel like could be a little better acted, but I'm very, very hard pressed to find another film that is as entertaining as this from start to stop throughout the entire film. Masterfully acted. You have two really good people in this, especially with Ben Foster, who is always great in no matter what role he plays. Chris Pine, this is probably the best he's ever been in a film. And then obviously Jeff Bridges is.
This was kind of Chris Pine's breakout. It's like, oh, this guy can actually act.
Yep.
You know, he's not just one note.
Not at all.
No, it's a great pick. I love that movie. Love it. Jeff Bridges is. You throw Jeff Bridges in anything, it's great. But I love like older Jeff Bridges, like Bad Times at the El Royale. I love that movie too.
Yep. Yeah, Taylor Sheridan has obviously been huge in the 2010s. You can't take away Yellowstone and all the crap that he started with that. The only thing I will say is I had a really hard time looking at this and saying, should I pick Hell or High Water or should I try to pick Wind River?
Yeah, I love that movie too.
I love Wind River. It was, I think that one came out just the year after Hell or High Water.
It did, 2017.
Yeah. So the only thing I'll say is I think Hell or High Water is more rewatchable for me. I can watch Hell or High Water probably every 6 months and just be amazed by every single scene. Wind River, it's still great, but it's
very
just
dark.
Yeah, it's a little more mopey, but which nothing wrong with that. I want those depressing type films every so often, but yeah, love me.
I'll say this: I've only watched Wind River once since I saw it. Well, I mean, I've only seen it once, but I've rewatched Hell or High Water at least 4 times since it came out.
I will say John Bernthal in Wind River is one of the worst villains of the last 10 years, easily. Easily.
Yeah. John Berthal just be like showing up in so much. Like I'll be watching. There's John Berthal. He's like in like 8 movies a
Like
year.
Sicario, yeah. All of a sudden, he's a terrible villain in that movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got number 3 for you?
I'm gonna take it a little bit more light, and pick Sing Street.
Nice.
Um, I love this movie. It's a charming little Irish movie set in the 80s. And I didn't know what to expect going into this. I heard some really good things about it. I was like, kids in a band singing. I don't know if that'll be for me, but this soundtrack is like really incredible. And I was like listening to it for like months after I watched this movie. Some of the best like original songs ever for a movie. I feel like the fact that they weren't like nominated for any Oscars that year is a freaking crime. But it's just it's a nice little sweet kids coming of age movie, and I like the relationship in it, and it's very inspiring. Like I watched this movie at a time in my life where I needed some inspiration, and it really inspired me to take a different direction with my life and do something. So I love this movie.
I don't think I've seen that since it came out. Yeah, that's a pretty well made movie.
Yeah, I watched it probably 5 or 6 times. It's kind of really personal for me, so I gotta throw it up in my top 5.
Nice.
It's great.
Ken
And I
went
haven't
light.
seen
Go ahead.
any of his other movies. John Carney, have you?
I
I
have
know he has like
not.
Once and Begin
Yeah,
Again.
I've
People
been
have
wanting to
hyped
see
up, but I haven't
Once,
seen them.
and I think Once had it had some crazy release from like Nova Media or something that I always see on sale because nobody bought it. But I wanted to check that out.
Yeah, Sing Street's fantastic. It's one of my favorite movies of all time now.
Distorted Vision says, Ken, I'm so glad you brought this film up because I saw the film in theaters years back, really dug it, and completely blanked on the title until 2 minutes ago. So thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's not a lot of people talked about it when it came out. Like it should have been nominated for some Oscars for like the soundtrack. It's some great music on there. Great music.
Jim has a quick question for you. What are your thoughts on avocados?
I like avocados a lot, actually. I'm always making guacamole. I make a mean guacamole dip, Jim. Should come over, hang out, try some.
Ken went light for number 3.
Is a splash of lime.
You need more than a splash for sure.
Just a splash.
Ken went light for number 3, and I decided to wait to go light till number 2, and I went super dark for number 3.
So your
and
number 2s are light tonight. Is that
Yep.
what you're saying?
I'm going to go for my favorite Denis Villeneuve film, and that is 2013's Prisoners.
Okay. I love Prisoners. Yeah.
Prisoners is, in my opinion, his masterpiece. I think this has his best ensemble cast, other than something like Dune, because obviously when you have the budget of every single person in Hollywood, it's going to have everybody.
Yeah, I have Prisoners in my honorable mentions.
Nice. Yeah, Prisoners is special. We've got Hugh Jackman putting in maybe a career best performance if you don't count.
It's his best. Yeah,
it's his best acting for sure.
Yeah, I don't even think it's up for debate. It's his best.
Paul Dano just being weird as hell, and he's always great. Jake Gyllenhaal having maybe his most impassioned performance other than Nightcrawler. You've got Viola Davis just being devastating in this. Melissa Leo is great in this. I absolutely love this movie. It is really well scripted. It is filmed in such a way that feels a little bit smaller and nuanced than his other films. Like, obviously, something like Arrival is huge. Sicario literally goes across international lines. It's difficult to find something that is small like this from him anymore. I've always loved the Villeneuve stuff, but this is, I don't know. This movie hit hard, and for somebody that's got 2 young kids, the first time I saw this,
if you got kids, like the movie just hits on another level.
Yeah, this is a devastating movie.
Yeah, I agree. How do you feel? I imagine you love it because it's in your top 3. But how did you feel about the ending? Because I'm still a little conflicted on the ending of the movie.
I think Denis actually had some issues with endings in most of his movies. I think that it's not a perfect ending, but the rest of it is better than almost anything that comes out in all of the 2010s.
Yeah. Since we're on Denis Villeneuve, this almost made it into my top 5 because I love this movie so much. I'll bring out Enemy.
It's fantastic.
I freaking love this movie. And when I watched it for the first time, I was just like, what the hell did I just watch? And I watched it again and I kept watching it. And
Yep.
it's one of the only movies I've ever done that with. But like the movie's like almost a different experience every single time you watch it. It like changes. I don't know. I love it though.
I am a big fan of like twin films and doppelganger films. So Enemy, that first time
Yeah.
was just like, this is such a mind fuck that I really want to see this again and again and again.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I've got I love Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Gosling like in the 2000s. 2010s they had so many great movies.
Agreed.
But yeah, Enemy is a special movie. It's a special movie. And that and Prisoners are probably those are my two favorite Villeneuve movies.
Nice.
By far.
I still haven't seen Incendies. I need to see that one.
I got that I bought it and I never watched it. But yeah, that's I wish he would. I know he's big and grand and he's doing great stuff with Dune and stuff now, but I wish he would go back and do something a little smaller like those two movies again.
And I think he will eventually.
Yeah.
All right. What do you got? Number 2, my friend?
Number 2 is Ex Machina.
Good movie.
And I tried to not go all A24 for my top 5. So that's why I pulled Enemy out. But yeah, this movie just like floored me when I first watched it. All the performances are great. I love Domhnall Gleeson and Oscar Isaac, and the ending was just like, what the is going like, what is this? Yeah. Such a dark ending. But I just love stuff like this. I love the mood and the atmosphere and the vibe to it and kind of isolation of it. And the fact that you don't know what the hell's going on, like pretty much the whole movie. You're just kind of taking along for the ride, but it's a great movie. I just love stories like this, like dark sci-fi tales. Like I love Black Mirror. That's like one of my favorite shows. And this is kind of right up that alley, but yeah, Alex Garland, I don't think he's missed as a writer director yet.
Not at all.
I love Annihilation and Men. So
Annihilation is fantastic for sure.
Yeah, but that movie's just a sci-fi masterpiece to me.
I do want to say on this, it is stupendous to me that he can take a script like this and make it seem like such a like really tense sci-fi thriller. Like you really feel the sci-fi, but it's still such a contained small film overall. This is not like some big robot drama that is covering a massive high stakes.
It won an Oscar, didn't it? Yeah, it won an Oscar for visual effects. That's what it said on the cover right there. Academy Award winner.
Completely agree, yeah.
So yeah, the effects were incredible, yeah.
Next one up, my number 2 is easily the best animated film of all time, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This movie,
I can't believe he did that. That's awesome.
This movie is a gift. Like I can watch this every single day of my life. It is every single style under the sun. He's kicking himself.
I love it. I
can't wait till the sequel. Into the Spider-Verse is, I will still say, the best comic book film of all time. Great looking 4K, best animation since, and maybe anything ever, because it goes across
all my thoughts. It's my favorite superhero movie. It's my favorite Spider-Man movie, and it's my favorite animated movie. It's another super special movie to me. Saw it with my wife, 2 kids in the theater. Like we all loved it. Like that's never happened where we all just like equally love a movie so much. So yeah, I love that movie so much.
Yeah, Spider-Man, I can't wait till the sequel. It's going to be special. Even the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie looks incredible. This one is just mystifying. The only one that came close for me on this list that was animated, that was close to this, would be the Lego movie. Really love that one as well.
It's a great movie.
But there is a Pixar movie that's up there for me as well that we'll talk about in honorable mentions.
But yeah, it's such an emotional movie too. I just the score is so great, the soundtrack's great, like the music, everything just comes together perfectly in that movie.
I agree. Yeah. And voice acting, incredible cast. Yeah.
And we never got an animation like that, and I was unsure like how I was gonna like it. I'm not a big like superhero. I like animation stuff like Pixar and all that, but I'm not a big like superhero animated guy. Like I
Yep.
watched the animated stuff when I was a kid, and I don't watch the DC animated stuff. So when I saw that, I was just gonna be like, that's another silly superhero animated thing, and just completely caught me off guard when I watched it. Loved it.
Number one, my friend.
This is probably in my top 10 movies of all time. Love this movie, connected with it on every level when I watched it. That's Damien Chazelle's Whiplash. I love everything about this movie. I was in bands. I got 2 steel books here. No regular release though. I was in band in high school, and my band teacher was not like J.K. Simmons, but like I felt some of those moments of the pressure and the drive to be great, and I just love the themes in the movie. Just how is true greatness achieved? Is it achieved by extreme negative reinforcement or positive reinforcement?
Right.
And that's never really answered in the movie. But yeah, it hit me on every level.
What
Because
did you
I
play in
used to
band?
drums. Yeah. So I was in jazz band and concert band and pep band and marching band and all that stuff. And I haven't drummed since I was in high school, but never drummed on the level that Miles Teller did in the movie. But um, it hit me when I watched it. I was like, this is just one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. And the ending's perfect. The last 20 minutes of the movie's perfect. Miles Teller, that's definitely his best performance. And I think it's J.K. Simmons' best performance too. I mean, he won the Oscar for it.
Yeah, I don't think
So
anything would come even remotely close.
yeah, but I love Whiplash, and it's so funny too. Like I'm laughing like almost the entire time, even though I know that some of the stuff I'm laughing at I shouldn't be laughing at, because there are some incredibly tense moments. But um, some of the stuff J.K. Simmons says in that movie, the one-liners are just amazing.
Yep. Film Addiction says unsub from Film Addiction. Never seen Whiplash.
Need to see Whiplash. Yeah, it's one I try to watch every year since it came out. Love it. The music again is great. Um, Justin Hurwitz and Damien Chazelle is just a great combination.
To me, I love Whiplash. I'm going to mention it in my honorable mentions for sure. But for me, when I think of the 2010s, there is one single film that kind of encapsulates the entire thing. And when you're looking back on it, I think that there's not going to be a ton of films that last as potential classics from that decade. And the number one on my list of obvious classics that are instant classics, nothing comes close to Mad Max Fury Road. That movie, have you not seen it?
I have seen it.
Okay, I was going to
I
say
do
that
like Mad
basically
Max. I do but I haven't connected to it on the level of loving. Yeah.
it is a
Visually
technical
though,
achievement on ways that I don't think we even comprehend yet. The way that they combined practical effects with some of the best CGI we've ever seen. The way that we have the the actors in this completely taking over roles that just live in this world and nowhere else, and the only way that you grab onto it is by devoting yourself to completely being mystified and being lost in imagination in this film. It is visual spectacular, obviously, but the story really grabs you in a way if you've watched all of the Mad Max films and really gone from the Mel Gibson days all the way up through now. We got Furiosa coming in the future. It is masterfully directed. It is easy to get lost in and just stare at little details in the background. It is one of those movies that it's, I don't know, this one is special. I've seen it multiple times in the theater, many times at home. I love this movie, and I think that this is one that if you're talking in the grand scheme of film and cinema history, this easily mapped out the 2010s as something that you can't dismiss and say there's no good movies past the 2000s.
it's definitely a landmark movie. It's a
Yeah,
big one for sure. Um,
absolutely.
but no, I like the movie. Would you say it's the best Mad Max movie?
Yeah, probably.
I got ripped apart when I said that when I reviewed the older Mad Max movies
I
back in the
mean,
day.
I don't have the nostalgia tied to the older ones like a
Yeah,
lot of
that's what
people
I
do.
said. And I don't even love Fury Road, but I said that I liked it better than the Mel Gibson ones for sure. Um, yeah, Fury Road's something. I like what you said about it being something that we haven't even fully realized yet.
Yeah.
The greatness of it, because it does feel like something just completely different, like some kind of weird experience that I've never had anything like before. Doesn't even feel like a movie in a way. Like
Yeah. It's like a moment in
it,
time.
yeah, it's weird.
Interesting.
But for me, my problem is, and I think somebody said it in the chat, it's just lacking in story and character for me. It's probably in there. I just haven't saw it. I just haven't been able to see it yet.
Right.
But that was my big kind of let down from it, I guess.
A lot of people in chat agreeing with us though that it's up there as the best Mad Max film.
Yeah, I got annihilated. I remember when I reviewed those 4Ks and I said I probably like Fury Road the best out of all these. You don't know movies, get out of here. Shut your channel down. Damn, guys.
Well, they can't all be Beyond Thunderdome, I guess.
Yeah, it happened to me again this week with Superman when I briefly mentioned in the opening that I'd always liked Henry Cavill's version better than Reeves, but now having watched them all, I appreciate Reeves a lot more. But yeah.
Well, you want to hit us with 20 honorable mentions?
I got a lot. You want me to do all 20?
However you want to go about it.
And I got full shelves over there too if I'm missing any. I love Get Out. To me, Jordan Peele as a filmmaker hasn't missed yet. I love him. I love this movie. But this movie, like, I think Us is a really great horror movie. This movie kind of transcends the genre for me a little bit. I think it should be remembered as like a Psycho in like 50 years. I think people look back on this movie as a big landmark horror film.
Yeah.
So
Completely agree.
Blew my mind when I saw it in the theaters. I think like I get a lot more from it when I watch it. When I watched it after, some of the performances are fantastic. Yeah, just very unnerving, unsettling, and yeah, it's great. It's great.
It's a good call. Let's see. I will go through a couple then. Let's see. I kind of ranked most of these, but I'm gonna try to lose my ranking so it doesn't seem that way. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it might be my favorite Tarantino film, but the hard part, Inglourious Bastards also came out in the 2010s, and that still might be his masterpiece.
No, it didn't. It came out in 2009.
Did it?
It did.
It did. I was thinking of Django. That's the one I was thinking about.
Django did come out in 2012. I got one Tarantino movie in the stack, and I pulled this one instead of Django and Once Upon a Time because I love it so much, and I think it deserves more respect, and that's The Hateful Eight.
I figured that was going to be the one.
Yeah, I love movies set in one location, and this movie, I really liked it when I first saw it, but the more I watch it, I love everything about it. I think it's easily Sam Jackson's like best performance ever. I love him in this movie. Kurt Russell's great. Tim Roth, Jennifer Jason Leigh's in this.
That's one of the best ensembles of the decade for sure.
I love. It's got so many people. Walton Goggins in this movie. I mean, Bruce Dern. Like it's so captivating. Just everybody can sit around a cabin.
Yep.
For almost 3 hours, and I'm just completely captivated and just into every single moment of dialogue. And yeah, Sam Jackson though just has several great scenes in this movie where he just goes all out. But I love Django too. Love it. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like you said, saw it in the theaters. I was like, I like it, but like, did that even have a story to it? And then when I started to watch it at home after I bought it on 4K, every single time I watch it, like it keeps growing on me. And then it's almost like I don't even care that it doesn't have too much of a story. I just appreciate it for it's just all character, performances, and setting. And yeah, I love that movie more and more every time I watch it. It's probably in my top 3 Tarantinos now. I think it's great for sure.
I love Tarantino. That's just it. Next one. I don't really love this director, especially anymore, but I got to say, one of the best Paul Schrader films of all time came out in the 2010s, and that is First Reformed. That
It was a
movie,
weird one.
I love First Reformed. I'm a huge fan of subversive religious films, and this movie, it goes subversive on everything surrounding religion. Obviously, you kind of don't see what's coming throughout this entire film, no matter how you're looking at it. Things are going left and right. You got people playing like two-sided roles, kind of unexpected to what you would expect out of this role. And First Reform ends on the most out of nowhere ending in a Paul Schrader film in a very long time. And I don't think that he will be topping that movie ever again easily.
He's made a movie since, hasn't he?
He's made a couple. He's got a new one
Was it
that's
the
out right
Card
now.
Player or something? Did he
The
do
Card
that one?
Counter
Card Counter, yeah.
with the Oscar Isaac. We just talked about him in Ex Machina.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac had several great performances. 2010s. Yeah, I might need to watch First Reform again. That's one I watched once, and I was like, that was interesting. And yeah, I need to watch it again.
Yep. All right, go ahead. A couple more from you.
I'm gonna go into another heart warmer, The Peanut Butter Falcon. I love this movie with Shia LaBeouf, Dakota Johnson. I love all the performances. Yeah, I saw this movie in the theaters, and it was just a good, feel good, like emotional journey.
Yeah,
and I loved it. Loved it. Peanut Butter Falcon.
I love Shia LaBeouf in most things.
He was on a hot streak. I love I don't have this movie, but American Honey is great. From 2016. But he did Peanut Butter Falcon and Honey Boy in the same year, I think. Those are both great.
Just going on that A24 streak still.
Yeah.
I'm going to mention some that you've already mentioned so far. Love Me, Get Out. I think that it's Jordan Peele's best film. It's not my favorite film from him, but it's easily his best film.
What's your favorite?
At this point, probably Us, even though I think they're all incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I do love Us. I really do. It's a great horror movie.
Yeah, and that's probably why it's my favorite.
Really wacky and weird ending, but I mean, I dig it. It's just, I get why people don't love the ending, because it's just like so out there and unrealistic, and just like you really have to suspend your disbelief a lot.
Yeah. I love Lady Bird. I know you mentioned that. I think it's one of the best coming of age films of all time. Love the Witch. Again, horror masterpiece. One of the best of the decade. 100%. Parasite. We got a mention of that earlier. I think that it's a brilliant masterpiece. Love it. It's just incredibly well done.
You could do a top, easily do a top 20 from 2019. Like, that's one of the best years of cinematic history to me. Like, there's so many great movies in 2019.
Yep.
To a point where it's like 2020 hit, and then we had the pandemic, and we haven't fully recovered from that. But I know there's still great movies being made, but that just feels like that year was so good. It's like, I don't know how we get back there again with movies today. There's just so many great movies that year.
It's a good call. Some more?
I'll talk a little MCU. The MCU was very important in the 2010s for sure. And speaking of never getting back to the greatness of what it was, I don't think it will anytime soon. But I love the Captain America trilogy. I love all three of these movies. They're all in my probably top 5 MCU films. I love the first Avenger. A World War II movie. But I just love Steve Rogers' origin story, and The Winter Soldier is like easily the best MCU movie to me. It's way different than all the other ones, but it's a spy espionage thriller, wrapped up in the MCU universe. Yeah, they have to do the big MCU stuff at the end, but it's a great film with some incredible fight sequences, and I love the Winter Soldier. And then Civil War. It's basically an Avengers movie, but it's awesome. So had to bring those up. And Infinity War, I'll throw out there. This is a great movie. I feel like you know, the MCU will never get back to where it was because of like movies like this. Like you never forget like how you felt in the theater at the end of this movie. This was a big moment for movies. I compare it to like I saw it with my son in the theater, and I'm like, this is like you're gonna have this memory and this moment forever. It's gonna be like when people saw Empire Strikes Back in the theater back in the day. You'll be able to tell your kids you saw Infinity War in the theater.
Infinity War is easily one of the best, like underscore bold capital comic book movies. It is
Yeah.
one of those things that you can watch and go, damn, I've envisioned this in a comic book for years, and it's actually on the screen. Like they kind of did it.
Yeah, I mean, like there's some like 64 characters. Like it blew our minds when we saw Avengers in 2012 and they brought like 6 people together.
Yeah.
But Infinity War is like 60 characters and it's all flows so
In one scene.
seamlessly and it's not messy at all. And it's great the whole way through.
I'm gonna throw out like 3 at a time here. I'm gonna go with Moonlight. I think Moonlight is one of the best movies easily from the last decade. Beautiful
Got it. Love it.
cinematography, incredibly engaging story. Absolutely adore Moonlight.
One
One
of my
that,
favorite scores
yes,
as well.
incredibly well done.
Absolute favorite scores.
Oh, by the way, if you loved Moonlight and you haven't seen it, check out Waves from A24.
Waves is
Amazing
also
movie.
incredible. Love that movie.
Amazing movie.
And it came out in 2019, and that it got no recognition because there's just so many great
Because it was
movies that came out in
2019.
2019. But
The
that was a
hard
great
part
movie.
with Waves is you really got to prepare yourself because it's not paced like a normal movie. So
Yeah.
when that climax hits in the middle of the second act, you might not really be ready for what's coming because it slows down and makes you live with those feelings. But both of those are just an incredible 1-2 punch of film.
Yeah. Sterling K. Brown is like just crazy good in Waves.
Last one in this little 3 movie pile up. A lot of people forget 2010. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, like another great comic
Oh
book
yeah.
movie. Love this movie. Again, a huge ensemble that is. It was very small then, but most of the people in that are incredibly huge actors now. Just fantastic movie, really well done. Edgar Wright as one of the best directors of the last 20 years, even though he's not done too many movies. Yeah, love Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim's a good one. If you want to go another one from the 2010s, it's kind of along the same line as Scott Pilgrim. Or 2010, Kick-Ass came out in 2010.
Kick-Ass
It's a
is
great
good
one
stuff.
too. I'll throw out some more horror. It Follows. I love this movie. It's another great score by Disaster Piece. But I was getting back into horror stuff. Like I said, 2000s kind of screwed me over a little bit in my horror fandom. But then I started watching movies like this and You're Next and this other movie, The Conjuring, which is kind of a landmark horror film of the 2010s, I'd say. And I was like, damn, horror's back. And I started paying attention to it a lot more. But It Follows is great. Very, very creepy, very atmospheric. And yeah, I love everything about this movie.
It Follows was 2015, I think, right?
2015, yeah, that sounds right. 2015, 2014, one of those.
That 2014, 15, 16 had some of the best horror, especially from first-time directors ever in a 3-year period. It was amazing.
Babadook came out, I think, in 2014 too. I don't love the Babadook like some people, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I don't hate it either.
I'm going to give some love now to some Asian films. We don't talk enough about those. I'm going to throw out, I already talked about Parasite, I guess, but some full-on Asian horror because it went hard in the 2010s. Got to throw out Train to Busan. Maybe top 3 zombie movie of all time. Easily like one of the most plot-driven, engaging, dramatic zombie movies ever made, easily. On top of that, I will throw in I Saw the Devil. It is extremely harrowing. It is a movie that is full of revenge, full of this unsettling pace throughout the entire movie, and that ending comes and you're so not ready for it. I Saw the Devil.
A crazy movie. My only issue with that movie, I did love it, but it was just like, damn, how brutal can you guys go in this film? Like there's like so many layers of brutality to that film.
There's a lot of it. And then the last one I'll throw out there, one that hardly anybody ever talks about. The Wailing is one of the best movies ever made. And
I've always heard about that one.
It is an Asian folk horror that screams at you for like the next 4 hours after you watch it, and you can't help but like cover your ears and feel everything that you just witnessed for the last 2.5 hours. That movie is a masterpiece. The wailing is something that will make you question what is real, question what you've been seeing for the last 2.5 hours, and make you want to see it again, probably 2 or 3 more times. That movie is astonishing, and nobody ever talks about it enough.
There's another one I've heard a lot about, Burning or The Burning.
The Burning is great. Yeah,
that one came out in like 2018 or something.
Somewhere
I've been
around
meaning
there.
to watch that one. Not talking about the 81, slasher, but was it called The Burning, or was it just called Burning?
It's The Burning for sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard about that. Well, I've seen a couple of those. So
Good.
I've seen some Asian stuff. I think you mentioned it earlier, but I absolutely love Arrival. Like I saw this in the theaters, and it just again blew me away. The score in this one's great. And Amy Adams' performance, I think, is probably one of her best. I think I have another Amy Adams movie in this stack. But yeah, and it's extremely emotional. Like I wasn't ready for the ending that this movie gave me. Like it's
a good one.
It fucks with your mind, but it also just like it makes a ton of sense, and it's just extremely emotional. I love it. I'll show my other Amy. I'll throw my other Amy Adams movie, but Nocturnal Animals with Jake Gyllenhaal and Amy Adams. I love.
Uncomfortable movie.
Has anybody made a special edition of this yet? Is there like a second sight of this? Like, there's so many movies from the 2010s that like need something. Like,
who's great in that is Aaron Taylor Johnson.
He's so good, yeah.
So unhinged in that movie, and you're not.
Wasn't this like the first movie that he had done like this? Like after, I think he did a few movies. He did Kick-Ass, and he did like he was Quicksilver and the Avengers and stuff, but. Like this is a very different. And Michael Shannon's in this movie. Like this is an incredibly dark movie. Like that whole sequence with the car, like when they first come to get his family, like that's so tense. You're just like that there's no going back from what's getting ready to happen. But
it reminded me of one I totally forgot. Anyways, sorry.
And the opening to this movie too is when I first like started. I'm like, what the. Am I watching? Like I almost turned it off, but I stuck with it, and I'm glad that I did.
As you said that, Gus commented the opening credit to gross.
It's art, okay. I know that now, but I just wasn't ready for that opening. And the director, isn't he like a clothesline, or like doesn't he own like a clothing line or something? Tom Ford, isn't he like some kind of like designer or something? I think he's directed 2 movies, but. I think he's like a clothing designer or something. And he
you just reminded me of 2011's Take Shelter. For anybody who
I haven't seen that one.
Michael Shannon masterpiece. He's incredible in this.
Things. Yeah.
Okay, so back to my list. A couple others that don't get mentioned enough at all. Dr. Sleep. It is so hard to make a Stephen King sequel to The Shining 40 years later and have it be incredible. It is. Mike Flanagan is a horror icon, and he shows in that movie.
He's such like a low-key like horror icon, like master of horror director. Like I feel like they just don't talk about him enough, but he's done so many great movies.
It's because he got stuck doing all the Netflix limited series, and they're all great, believe me. Well, 2 out of 3 are great, and one of them is
Hill House is fantastic. I like Bly Manor a lot too.
Midnight Mass is his masterpiece, I think.
Midnight Mass was incredible. I'm still conflicted on the ending to that. The ending really pissed me off. I don't know. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But that whole sequence in the church, like, that's like the climax of the show. Oh my God, that was so good.
Hamish is just stupid good in that movie. Or not movie, limited series.
But I was going to say, he didn't direct Bly Manor. I think maybe he did an episode, but he full on directed Hill House, and he directed
Midnight Mass.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
No, I completely agree with you on Dr. Sleep, though.
Good.
2019 was such an incredible year, and when I came out of that year, that was my favorite movie. Of the whole year, and until I saw 1917, then that became my favorite movie. But The Shining's my second favorite horror movie of all time. I walked into that theater just arms crossed. I was like, I'm going to watch this, but there's no way they're going to pull this
Right.
off. And they got me. I was like, this is just one of the best. I couldn't have hoped for anything better. Like they just
Right.
couldn't have done better with it. Just how they blended the actual novel with, making an actual legitimate sequel to The Shining. And then you get to the end, and yeah, there's a bunch of member berries and stuff. Remember this? But I loved it because they took the time to build up the story, the characters, and they gave you that ultimate like payoff and fan service at the end. That was just
Well,
so freaking
and the
great.
fan service was even turned on its head a little bit as well. They took it
Yeah.
and toyed with it because it wasn't exactly the way it was supposed to be. You felt a little more tense because of it.
Yeah, I loved it. Loved everything about that movie.
Another one that gets overlooked because of their other movie, but I actually like this one more. I got to go with the Safdie brothers' Good Time. I think this is much better than Uncut Gems.
I brought Uncut Gems over because I like it better than Good Time, but I love Good Time too.
They have this like an unreal relationship with tension. If you can,
I need to watch Good Time again. It's been a while. It's been since 2017 since I've seen it.
If you can make an entire audience sit literally on the edge of their seat for the entire time and start getting closer and closer and closer the entire time, you've got something special. And they pull it off with the music choices they use. They pull it off with the acting and this frenetic camera style that really puts you in the moment. Uncut Gems is probably a better film, but something about Good Time just
I got
fits
to see Uncut Gems in the theater. I think it was like the day after Christmas or something. The fun experience about Uncut Gems was that I think that a lot of people going into it, the theater was packed. I think I don't know if they were expecting like an Adam Sandler like comedy or something, or a little bit more lighthearted, but the reaction on people's faces when we were walking out of the theater was the best part about seeing that in the theater. But I had like stomach cramps like watching that movie. It made me so like anxious. And I just think that Adam Sandler, I just saw him live a few weeks ago, and his stuff in the 2000s as far as comedies is not great. But Uncut Gems is just one of my favorite performances from him. Love it.
I have 4 more overall to talk about. How many you got left?
I've got 4, but I think one of them's Hell or High Water, so you already discussed that one.
I'll throw out one more then, and then we can alternate on the final 3 and call it a night. I will throw out the other animated film that I alluded to earlier. I think we're going to look back in 10 or 15 years and say, how are we graced with Coco, and just let it go by us. Coco is a feast for the eyes. Some of the coloring in Coco should not exist. Like, I feel like they invented a color palette for some of those scenes that they did. The music in Coco is astonishing. The actual voice acting is unreal in that movie, and on top of it, it's a really well done story. And it's obviously it's the same old classic Disney twist that we've seen.
You can't talk about Coco without giving me like a little teary-eyed, emotional.
And that's
like
the thing; it's
crazy.
genuinely emotional. For a lot of obviously everybody talks about Up as being the super emotional film, but Coco,
first 5 minutes,
Coco brings it the entire time.
Yeah. No, I love that movie. I saw it in the theaters. My only gripe with it, I took both my kids to see it. The movie's 2 hours, and they played a freaking 25-minute Frozen.
Oh, the short
cartoon, not a short. The thing was like 30 minutes.
Yep.
So we were in the theater for like 3 hours. And I think my daughter was like 2 or 3 at the time. So I didn't love it by the time we got to the end because I was like tending to the kids too much. But I watched it again at home and really, really got into it a lot more.
Been there. Hit me with one.
Look, I love found footage. I really do. Unapologetically, I love found footage. It's probably one of my favorite horror subgenres. So I'm going to throw out one of my favorites.
I'm worried about what you're about to say.
Because there's a lot of bangers. We got Paranormal Activity, and then it was just like we were flooded with stuff. But I love VHS. Great anthology. I'll admit that VHS 2 is better, but I don't have it on Blu-ray, so I couldn't bring it over. But yeah, I love both the VHS movies. Have you seen both of those?
There's like 5 now, right?
There's 5. Yeah, one with the iconic Ratma. But yeah, I love VHS. I remember watching it on Netflix late at night, and it just kind of blew my mind. Like I was a kid watching like the old school anthology, like Creepshow and Creepshow 2, but it was found footage. So Made it a little bit more scarier for me.
Yeah, there's a lot that could have been named.
What did you
It's
not want me to name?
I don't know. I think well, The Devil Inside, was that movie? I think that came out in the 2010s.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
The Last Exorcism is one that I would actually throw there, is much better than people give it credit for until the ending. The last 90 seconds is awful.
I love Paranormal Activity 3. That came out in the 2010s.
That's a good one.
That was a great theater experience. But VHS is awesome. The opening with the siren girl that they take up into the room, and yeah, I think the last sequence is incredible. But VHS 2 has like the cult, the Asian cult, that was just like crazy good. Yeah.
I'm going to go way off theme compared to what we've been talking about. I'm going to say easily one of the best romantic comedies, really kind of layered by the fact that it's a true story about the main star of the film. The Big Sick, Kumail Nanjiani's film, is amazing. Really well done. Super grounded by a lot of people aren't going to say it because he's hardly in the movie, but Ray Romano is kind of amazing in this movie. He really steals every scene that he's in. I think Holly Hunter was the mom in that movie. Just an incredibly made film. And obviously the script is going to be great because he lived the story. It's hard not to identify with it when he and his now wife are just completely dealing with the aftermath of this for the next 15 years. Then it comes out as a not huge Hollywood film, but it's backed by Amazon Studios. I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I agree. I've only seen that movie once, but I did really like it when I watched it.
It's a good one.
I think you already said Nightcrawler.
But
this was an incredible movie.
Yep.
And I was watching, like, when I was really getting back into watching movies, like I was watching this, I was watching Whiplash and Nocturnal Animals, and I was like, damn, they're just making some really great movies right now. And I just got into all of them, and yeah, absolutely love this. And it's one of the last Bill Paxton performances too, and he's great in it as well. But yeah, the
mid 2010s were huge on thrillers that were really well done.
Yeah, and 2014 and 2019, I feel like are the two strongest years for movies in the 2010s. 2014 had some really awesome movies. John Wick. We didn't even talk about John Wick. That came out in 2014. But I also got La La Land because I love La La Land.
Yeah.
So I love Damien Chazelle. I didn't love Babylon, but maybe I need to give it a moment. I thought it was good. But La La Land was great. Me and my wife saw us in theaters on New Year's Eve, I think 2016 to 2017. And it was like right at midnight. We went to see it. And we weren't like big musical people. I wasn't at the time. So we weren't sure what to expect. We just liked Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling. And they started breaking out in the song in the beginning. And we were kind of like, I don't know about this. There was actually a couple that walked out. I was like, did you not know this was a musical? I knew it was a musical.
It's a very white musical.
But it's the music's great. I love the score. It was another movie I watched around the same time as Sing Street, so it was a very inspirational movie for me.
Nice. I've got two left. I'm going to run with they're both kind of horror films, but I got to go with Midsommar. I know that a lot of people hate this movie. It's a very divisive film.
I forgot my Pew blanket.
I adore Midsommar primarily because of Florence Pugh. I think that this is a super strong script.
We popped off Midsommar before Hereditary.
I personally nowadays I will prefer Midsommar over Hereditary.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll throw out there, I think the director's cut of Midsommar is the better film as well.
Did they completely change the movie?
It does, actually. It's like another 20 minutes of context.
I didn't know what to think about that movie when I first saw it in the theaters. I was so excited because I loved Hereditary so much. I drove out to the theater like 11 o'clock at night. I went in there, sat down, front row, like third row or something. It was a pretty packed theater, I think. But I was a weirdo back then. I used to sit in like the third to the front row. I don't know. Have you ever been like that? Were you just like sitting close to the screen?
I don't
I
actually.
did it for a long time. I don't
I
know
think I'm
why.
a lot a bit taller than you. I held up my finger like this on purpose, but I'm much taller than you, and yeah, that sounds awful.
And I just kind of sat there like this, and I was like, huh. 2.5 hours. And I wasn't sure. I was like, is this a masterpiece? I'm not sure. But to me, that movie feels like Ari Aster is just repeating a lot of the same beats from Hereditary, almost to the point where it feels like he's parodying himself in certain parts. And it's more comedic than it is horror to me in certain aspects. And maybe some people like that stuff.
I don't see hardly any humor in that movie.
I don't know, when the old people are jumping off the cliff, I was laughing. I was like, this is crazy.
That terrifies
Stupid.
me because people actually believe in religion and sacrifice and stuff.
Yeah. I just thought it was so outlandish that I don't know. I couldn't engage with it. I just thought it was goofy.
That's what's scary to me, is that it's not outlandish. It's something that people have been doing for years.
Yeah. Tony says I need to rewatch Midsummer. I'll rewatch it someday.
The
I might
director's
love it. But you know what? That's why I keep movies in my collection, even if I don't like them, even if I hate them, because I may watch it in 10 years and it may hit me and I may love it. So Florence Pugh of Midsummer is a big, hot, steaming pile of dog crap to me now, but a few years I could love it. So, have you seen Beau is Afraid yet?
Not yet. I gotta wait for that to come home with me first.
All right. Gotcha.
Why don't you hit me with your last pick, and then we'll call it a night after mine.
I've got no more picks, but I see one on the shelf, so I'll just grab Wolf of Wall Street. This is great.
Good movie, yeah.
I love Wolf of Wall Street. Leonardo DiCaprio's freaking amazing in it. Birdman. We didn't even talk about Birdman, but I love Birdman too. Michael Keaton.
Super weird movie.
Also 2014.
Yeah, touche on that one. I'm going to throw out what is maybe, I think it's the only film from the 2010s that's on my top 4 on Letterboxd, because it is so personal to me, and that is another A24 film. I got to go with Green Room. Music was such an important part of my life growing up, and
it's a good movie.
The first time I watched Green Room, I've said this before on here, but I watched this and immediately went, I probably should have died in many situations I was in when I was younger. My parents wouldn't have known like where I was in some back alley getting stabbed by somebody. It could have been really bad, because I've been in green rooms that look just like that, and it was so personal just to see all of that. Did you ever
encounter anybody like Patrick Stewart in that movie?
No, thankfully. No Nazi clubs that I went to in Southern California.
That's a really good movie that I do not own, and I need to get that.
It's a great one. I've got a really gorgeous German media book of that one. That movie needs something special for it.
Yeah. A24, I also want to throw out a Ghost Story.
Under talked about.
Was a movie that I was like unsure about the entire time, but the last 15 minutes just like recontextualized the entire movie, and I ended up loving it. And there was the ending, just blew my mind. So, but yeah, Rooney Mara eating a pie for 15 minutes. It's fantastic.
Completely agree. I mean, it's absolutely wonderful. Chat has been crazy tonight, popping off on everything. I'd highlight more tonight, but everybody's just like, Will, I don't know what's going on.
Yorgos Lanthimos stuff, The Lobster, Killing of Sacred Deer, and The Favorite.
Did you see the teaser that dropped today for his next one?
That's why, I didn't watch it. I hate watching trailers now, but I've seen some images and it looks freaking wild.
It's very much just a teaser. It's like 12 seconds and it looks fantastic.
I need to watch it.
All right, everybody.
A lot of great stuff.
Just over 3 hours, not going 10. Ken, you have been a fantastic guest. Thanks for coming on here and sharing everything with us.
Thank you for having me.
I super enjoyed it. If anybody's interested, I know we've got a whole bunch of newer people from the last couple of weeks. If you want a good, strong, super welcoming Discord, that Patreon link is in the description below. We are super active, literally 24/7. We would love to have you. Thanks everybody that is always supporting the channel. And until next time, I just want to say we'll see you next Thursday, and have a good rest of your week. See ya.
See y'all later.
Thank you for watching The Disconnected. On the way out, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, that you've liked the video, and that you've copied the link to be able to share it with someone else that may appreciate this.